All right, we're ready. We're live.
Hello, and welcome on into another Monday Live with the Whiskey Crusaders. I'm Will.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Matt.
Today we are joined by Gabriel, who is the distillery manager and has his finger all over Balcones Distillery. And we're going to give him a chance to talk here in just a couple minutes. But Matt, if you wouldn't mind going through the chat real quick, let's introduce the folks with us.
All right, so we got Mark, JG, Trev Wilson, Christopher David, Steve A, Eric Waite, Wheels, John Cran, Robot Scott. Trey's actually here at the moment hanging out for a little bit. Let's see here. We've also got Matthew McNabb, Richie Z, Jeremy Burns. Who else we got in here? I know we got a bunch more. Brad Buchan, Lynx Cat, Charles Ashworth, Donald Rance, Icehouse, One Lost Cause, SoCal Buns, and hopefully the chat likes to then catch up. Yeah, and Patrick Fulmore. There's Ed Bucket Review, Eric Waite, Jimmy Jazz, Jason Voorhees. All right, hope I didn't miss anybody. So, today is Independence Day for Texas, and we couldn't think of anything better than to do the very first whiskey in Texas, which is Balcones.
That's right.
So thankfully, and it's also awesome whiskey. And so Gabe is the Stillhouse manager down there at Balcones and kind enough to join us and talk about. We're going to talk about, I guess, 26 different expressions tonight. So it's going to be a fun night, deep dive into it, and have an awesome night. So thanks for joining us. So yeah, we obviously thank all of our forefathers here in Texas. Obviously, Sam Houston, Davy Crockett, Jim Bowie, William Travis, all of our awesome forefathers. So thanks for guys making an awesome state. And now we're going to talk about some awesome whiskey. So I'll turn over to Gabe. Talk to us about Balcones.
Sure. Yeah. First off, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. It's been fun to get to know some of y'all. So Balcones is we're not the first distillery in Texas since Prohibition. That honor goes to Garrison Brothers, and we don't begrudge them for it. We're stoked to be a part of the scene with them. But we did get some juice out the door before anyone else. That was Baby Blue. That was actually back in 2009. Yep, there it is. I had a different label at the time. But yeah, our first product the first whiskey released in Texas since Prohibition is Baby Blue. We've been in Waco in Central Texas for the last 12 years. We're in our 12th year. And we first got into really our heart is in single malts. But when we got going, we knew that was going to take time, and that was going to take learning, and that was going to take some serious effort. And so I think there it is. Yeah, the Texas One single malt. I think the easier entry point was in doing some corn whiskeys, and we wanted to do something a little different. So we used the roasted blue corn from New Mexico. Initially, it was just like from the Hopi Indians. And then we moved on to using a hybrid. But yeah, we got going with that. And since then, we have a whole array of products now. We've got a big portfolio. We've got roasted blue corn whiskeys, Blue, True Blue 100, True Blue Cask, and Brimstone, which we'll hit tonight. We've got blue corn bourbon, as well as pot still bourbon. If you're lucky, you might run into one of our wheated bourbon or a high-rye bourbon in the wild, but those are pretty rare, as these guys know. Hard to come by. And then we've got a really extensive single malt portfolio as well that we did. We have our Texas One single malt, kind of more American and robust and rich and kind of wood and fruit forward. And then we have wine finish expressions, as well as some softer ones that we're playing with lately. I assume we'll get into Mirador, maybe Brujeria, Hechiceros. We're proud to make whiskey. We love that we're in some incredible can make it well. I'm stoked. I'm stoked to answer some questions.
Absolutely. I guess if we just want to, I guess you want to talk about I guess that's probably a common question is talk about the barrels, like is what you guys started with and what you're using now. It's probably a good place to start.
Sure. Yeah. So we started with, we were a tiny operation. We started with a 225 gallon Hoga still, copper pot Hoga still, this very common Portuguese pot still, hand hammered. And we started with that, and it's actually in our gift shop. We were serial cooking, fermenting, wash distilling, and spirit stripping and spirit running, all in that one still for a while. And so, yeah, I mean, when we got started, we were at a pretty small scale. We were one still doing everything in that still. And when you're at that size, it's cool to fill a full size barrel, but you get a little bit more diversity, and it's a little bit more flexibility at that scale if you're filling smaller vessels. So initially, we started with 5-gallon barrels, and really, I mean, I'll kind of get a little behind the scenes because when you get the chance to talk to someone who might know, but when we actually started with those 5-gallon barrels, they're a little bit of a gray area because they are new-ish. But they're actually refurbished tequila barrels. So they take a full-size tequila barrel, shave off the char on the inside, and then split up a full-size refurbished tequila barrel, which would be a refurbished used bourbon barrel, and then they'll retoast and rechar the inside. And that's kind of why, that's actually one of the, I don't want to say secrets, but it's one of the reasons why I think people gravitated towards us, because we didn't have that green, resinous, roasted vegetal craft note. Yeah. And it was just because we were using good wood. And we were using old, seasoned wood that had been in use, aging spirits for 20, 25 years.
Makes so much more sense because there's, like you said, there's so many craft. It's like, oh, like, what's wrong? Well, it's all like, what's wrong? Like, oh, your barrels are bad.
Yeah.
Better barrel.
Bad wood. I mean, yeah, like 9 out of 10 craft that like aren't worth their salt. You get your nose in there and it's like, it smells like a gin. It's because they're getting green notes, piney resins, and vegetal notes from their oak. And it's just because it hasn't had enough time to season. And it hasn't had enough time to yard age and season out with the fungal activity in the wood and remove some of those flavors. But anyways, that's kind of like, people talk about our 5-gallon barrels, and it's easy to think like size is the only variable, but really it's the quality of your oak. So we've always focused on that. And because of that, when we moved to full-size barrels, we made sure to work with 24, and now we do only 36-month yard age stuff. So it's really finely seasoned wood, extra fine, high quality grain. And yeah, that's just that's one of the things that sets us apart. It's really expensive, very expensive to get that oak. It's probably 4 to 5 times higher for American oak that is 36-month yard age, and that's like extra fine and kind of premium than like your standard bourbon barrel that anyone else is filling.
Right.
We pay about $450 a pop for our American oak barrels. I think most people are paying about $125 in a lot. It's like $125 a piece. But that's what it takes. In Texas, you don't have the luxury in Texas of spending 10 years aging out off flavors like they do in bourbon country or Tennessee or Indiana. So we knew from the beginning, like, we've got to start with good oak, because in 5 years time, there's only 4 gallons left in the barrel. So
it's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. But anyways, so a big emphasis of ours has been oak. We actually buy from our Cooper Independent Safe Company. It's the largest cooperage in the world. And we got in when we started buying full-size barrels for them. We started buying their spirit catalog, but we actually ended up moving to their wine catalog, which is a bigger barrel, and it also allows us to do a lot of customization to our barrels. So it allows us to have that 36-month yard aging, extra fine grain, premium wood, and also thinner staves, more staves, custom toasted and charred heads. Most people don't char the heads of their barrels because it's more expensive. Right. But again, you pay a bunch of money for a really nice toasted charred barrel, and then they put green wood on the heads, and you wonder, why does my whiskey taste like juniper? It's probably your heads. But anyways, so we've kind of dialed that in and spent a lot of time just trying to work with our climate and work with our cooper to see like what works for our climate. How can we extract good flavor early without having to have this waiting period of bad flavors to kind of vent off and dissipate? And it's always been an emphasis of ours. But we did move. We went 5-gallon barrels, then 53s, then 60s, and we're actually getting into even larger stuff. We're going to get some 600-700 liter barrels, which is like 140, 150 gallon.
Wow.
To reduce evaporation, the less surface area contact you have with, the more liquid you have relative to your head phase, the less is going to go into the vapor phase and the less is going to go out. And so we're trying to find a way, how do we get an 8-10-year-old single malt in Texas and still have something in the barrel? So one of the approaches we're taking to try to get something a little older, a little bit more refined, a little bit more elegant, but still have something in the barrel to sell at the end.
Speaking of a little bit older, a little bit more refined, I just had the baby blue, and I don't want to say anything about it.
Yeah.
What else should I move on to next?
Hold on. Eric Waite's got a question. Eric wants to know, where does the barrel selection take place and who chooses the casks?
For blending or for single barrels, or I mean, that's all.
I think just the barrels themselves, like the actual cask. He's asking like where the actual casks themselves come from.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's a great question. So we use a combination. We use American oak predominantly, but we also use a lot of Hungarian oak and French oak. The American oak tends to be vanilla forward, sugar rich, and then the European oak tends to have a little bit more spice to it. And the French oak has a lot of tannin, a lot less sugar, and a lot less vanillin, but quite a lot of tannin and like earthy, like dark fruit notes. Yeah, we use those casks, and really it's been Jared, our head distiller, and other staff who've been around longer than me, just like buying a lot of barrels and saying like, okay, that toast and char profile really didn't work. All right, we like that one better with this mash bill. We prefer these barrel profiles and toast with this mash bill. Now we kind of have like a workflow, but even then it's not, I don't want to get off course from Eric's question, but even then it's not like, oh, this product goes into this barrel. It's like, okay, this product goes into these 3 wood types and these 2 to 3 toast and char profile or toast profiles. And we've been working with our Cooper. Again, I mentioned we're on their wine catalog. So really it's kind of ironic, but like sometimes we're looking for something, we're looking through their catalog, and like, you know, for a single malt, we'll think like, oh, where's their Pinot toast? You know, for our wheated bourbon, we actually use like a white wine toast. So it's like mineralic. You know, in Kentucky, you kind of get this like gypsumy, limestoney, powdery, like dusty quality to like some of the softer bourbons. And so we like, you know, we don't maybe have the luxury of doing that on their timeline. So we kind of get a little bit of a head start with like the type of toast that brings those sorts of minerality and refined wine flavors to stuff. So yeah, so it's a combination. It's chooses the cask. We work with our cooperage to decide like the parameters for our oak, and then we trust them to give us the parameters that we're paying for. But in the early days, it was Jared and some of our warehouse staff literally flying to our cooperage in Kentucky and in Missouri, and seeing how it operates, how they harvest the trees, what their toasting process is like, you know, what their cask selection methods are like, and then trusting them enough to just like kind of, you know, go whole hog on it and go with them for our selection.
Makes
sense. But we also experiment. I mean, we work with one cooperage predominantly, but we've got barrels from dozens, half a dozen cooperages in the warehouse, on top of used sherry, you know, Oloroso, Pedro Jimenez, Amontillado, Moscatel, Pelo Cortado, Vino de Color, Portuguese Moscatel, Carcavelos, white port, apple brandy, regular brandy, used tequila. I mean, you name it, we have something in it, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
And not to mention use bourbon barrels. We use Buffalo Trace, use Four Roses, use Wild Turkey, Dickel, Old Forester. I mean, like if we can get our hands on it, we'll throw something in it. And so far that's worked out because it's just given us a super diverse palette from which to draw from, and we're doing a creative project or doing a single barrel or making a blend, and it kind of makes it fun. It's like the warehouse samples hit the table, and it's like, okay, we're doing single malt this time. There's a ton of shit here.
Yeah, for real.
Let's see what there. This time there's Wild Turkeys, and last time it was mostly Four Roses. All right, you know, it's more fun than like, oh no, like we don't have the right thing to work with. But sorry, so we got a lot of wood, and a lot of people are taking a lot of time selecting which ones go where. Predominantly it's Jared, but sometimes he lets me help, you know. So
that's awesome. That's like the ultimate nerd awesomeness. I love it. That's like the best ever. I love going to, it's like you guys iron root all the awesome barrels. That's so exciting to hear.
Yeah, no, they're great. I mean, yeah, they're doing stuff too in brandy, you know, that we haven't dipped our toe in yet. I mean, and that's so fun. I mean, I love that. I love being seen. Seeing someone drop something and you're like, oh shit, I got to get my hands on that. You know, we didn't get to that yet.
That's very cool. So we got a couple questions that came in. So Chad Holly wants to know, he said he was offered a bottle called Knick Knack Woody Whack. Apparently it's a Balcones barrel. Have you ever heard of it? What is that?
So that's an SMWS barrel that just dropped like last week. They've done Yeah, SMWS has actually released 3 of our barrels. More to come, quite a few more to come, which we're really excited about partnering with them on that. But so far, they've released 3 of them. I think they released, Shotgun Whirly Gig was the first one. Knick-Knack Woody Whack was the second one, and then second or third. But Knick-Knack Woody Whack, the next one that I'm going to say, Cornography, was released. They released at the same time.
That's nice.
Yeah, so SMWS is it's the largest and maybe oldest whiskey club in the world. It's kind of exclusive. You pay to be a member. I'm sure you all know about this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you pay to be a member, and you have access to their catalog. And they started releasing a few years ago, 2016. They started releasing rums, cognacs, and armagnacs. And then in the last, maybe since 2017, they've gotten into some American style stuff. They've done Westland had a release with them. Dickel had a release with them. And then I think not Rock Hill Farms, one of the rock esoteric bourbon ones had a release with them. Anyways, yeah, Knick-Knack Woody Whack is probably my favorite of the releases that we've done with them so far. I believe it's 4 years old, and it was our malt in one of our used barrels. So one of our used, I believe it was used American oak, and it had a lot of garnish, a lot of like shoe polish notes, and kind of like more refined. Like late in maturation, like acetone byproduct stuff. It was pretty cool. I dig it.
Sounds like it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta get some whiskey. Are y'all drinking something yet?
Yeah, let's start with the blue. We'll go to that. I got 2 more questions, then we're gonna go into the whiskey.
Shoot.
All right, so Eric also wants to know.
We're already in the whiskey, man. Let the man pour something. What are you crazy?
Pour something, and then just keep pouring the whiskey. It's all good.
I'm drinking True Blue Cask. Or no, I'm sorry.
I started with the baby blue because we'll talk about it, but I want to get to pour some whiskey, and then we'll get to Eric's questions, and then we'll go into all the different expressions.
Well, Eric asked a question of what char level they use at Balcones, and
I got one way back before that.
Answer that one basically while you're pouring your whiskey. They use all, including
it's all char number 3.
Oh.
Yeah, everything's char number 3. Even if we have a custom toast profile, we pop a char number 3 on top of it. We actually just did an order. I think it was for some experimental stuff on pot still bourbon and on our rye mash bill, and we ordered a couple like alligator chars just to see. But that was the first time, I think maybe almost ever, that we've ever done something other than a char number 3. And those just hit the warehouse. We just filled those.
Very cool. Okay, so Eric wants to know, is the cask provider in Texas, and does Jared go there to examine the casks himself?
No, he's been there. The cask provider is Independent Stave Company. I think I said this before. I don't want to be redundant, but they're the largest cooperage in the world. They've got facilities all over the world. They're in France, they're in Hungary, and whatnot. They're sourcing wood from all over. But in the U.S., they're in Lebanon, Missouri, and Lebanon, Kentucky. And Jared's been there before. We work really closely with some of their engineers. I can't remember his last name, Andrew. If you looked at ISE and Andrew, an engineer, he's one of their like R&D guys. And Chad is kind of like their manager, the manager of their American operations that we work with. They're fantastic. We work super closely with them. If there's any, once in a blue moon, we get a barrel that isn't exactly right, and we are paying attention to that. We're like, yeah, this didn't really do what we thought it was going to do, and they kick us another one, in the next shipment. And it's been a while, I think, since we've been out there, maybe a year or 2 since we've been out there. But I mean, they're like top notch, top of the line, number one cooperage in the world. So we don't really feel, like we're like having to double check their work all that often.
Yeah, I would think not. They kind of know what you want at this point. So I'm guessing that the alligator char is the one that Arthur's asking about. He has said that Jared brought home, I guess, some specialty barrels, I guess. I'm guessing that's what he's talking about, the alligator char barrels.
No, those haven't been released yet. We just built those.
No, that's what I'm saying. He said the special barrels. That's what they just got, you said.
Yeah. So we just got a few of those just to test. We're always experimenting. We're always in some phase of R&D for some product. And so, on that front, it was kind of like a little bit of a decision to that a lot of Kentucky distilleries are doing like a really big char, and so as we're like getting more into bourbon and trying to like get our sea legs in bourbon and kind of figure out what kind of bourbons we want to make, we just thought like, we use char number 3 for everything. We use it for corn, we use it for rye, we use it for a malt and a ton of stuff. Maybe we'll try something else. We'll try something a little different, just see if it gives us a different result.
Okay, yeah, because he said the 140 proof wheated bourbon was new make was super fruity. That sounds delicious.
Yeah, our new make can be pretty yummy.
I bet. Okay, so I guess let's jump into talking about the very first product, the Baby Blue. So tell everybody what this is and talk about that.
Sure, yeah. So Baby Blue, roasted blue corn whiskey. It's bottled at 46% ABV. It goes into a mix of used bourbon. So use Buffalo Trace, use Four Roses, use Wild Turkey and whatnot. But it also goes into a lot of our own used casks, so used ISC. So for our products like, for products that only use one of our new virgin oak barrels for 2 years, or like our rye or rumble, we only use those for like, they get 15 months in there. Our rye is about to be straight, actually. Our next blend of rye in like late March is going to be straight, and it'll be straight from here on out.
Awesome.
But anyways, yeah, if we use something minimally, one of our virgin oak barrels minimally, we'll move corn whiskey into there to pick up the residual sugar and the remaining sugar in there. That's it. But the idea behind Baby is that we're really into this grain, this roasted blue corn, this kind of like nutty take on an American classic, this nutty and kind of earthy take on the classic American grain.
Yeah, I love it.
And so it's young. It is young, and it kind of has some vegetal notes that kind of lends itself to a little like the tequila association a little bit, where there's like kind of like that vegetable quality there. But the idea behind it is that it's grain forward. So there's not supposed to be a lot of oak on it. It's not supposed to pick up a lot of spice and a lot of tannin and a lot of structure. It's just supposed to be butterscotchy and sweet and a little salty and showcasing the grain. That's the point. So I totally get that. I think there's a lot of people love this product, and then a lot of people get into it and they go, "Oh, Texas whiskey. Oh man, Balcones," and they go, "Oh, this is it's a little small," Like, yeah, I mean that's kind of the idea. All of our products can't smack you in the head with an oak stave. So we do have a few products that are a little bit more approachable, and this is one of them.
But
I dig it. I mean, I love it. It makes a great highball. It goes great in some cocktails. It's great on ice. I dig it.
46% is the lowest you go, though, isn't it?
Yeah. So any lower, we don't chill filter, as y'all know. So if we went lower than 46% ABV, we'd get some chill haze or some haze just from the lipids not being separated by alcohol being too weak of a solvent at that proof to keep fats apart. Yeah, everything we do is 46% ABV or above.
Yeah,
and I actually prefer it at 47. Sometimes I feel like people open our bottles, and if they've had a Baby Blue or pot still bourbon for like 6 months or 8 months and they're halfway through it, you lose alcohol with time, and it'll go below 46, and then you'll start to get a little bit of a haze there at the end when the fats come together, and it kind of drains my gears. I go into a bar and there's like a bottle up on the shelf that's been there for a while and it's a little hazy. I'm just like, man. So
are y'all thinking
I wish it was 47 so that wouldn't happen, but it's 46 and it's great. I mean, it's totally delicious.
Going up to 47 so that it doesn't.
Huh?
Have you talked about going up to 47 so that it doesn't happen?
Yeah, it's come up. Maybe not for Baby, but if we did other products in that range, it'd be like, yeah, like we might as well just as a buffer do it at 47. Just for, I mean, it's totally, it's prideful. It's me being
it's only visual. It doesn't affect any sort of the flavors, but it is a visual thing.
Yeah, no, it does. I don't think it affects the flavor. But that's another discussion for another day.
That's fair.
I didn't know that would happen. That's really interesting. I have to check that somewhere now. Hopefully, just drinking it all and ordering new bottles and problem solved.
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm going to pour the True Blue 100 proof.
Sure thing.
This particular one is a 24-month. This one's from 2016. So I'm sure what you have is probably a little newer. But I backstock a lot of these because I love them, and then I hide them for myself.
Yeah, I like some of the. I mean, I really dig some of the older ones. The last few times we blended True Blue 100, we've kind of, we're still growing into our warehouse and growing into full. I mean, we kind of know our way around full size barrels. But to have so many products and then try to adjust all to kind of a new production parameter, not all of them did it as gracefully. And I kind of feel like when we first started breaking into True Blue 100 in the latest round of production, it was a little like, oh no, this isn't quite what we expected, quite where we wanted it to go. So some of the older ones are like very true. Really, the old True Blue 100, all that we were doing was siphoning off a part of a True Blue cask blend and proofing it to 100 proof. We would just blend True Blue cask and then take it off and proof it down. And so it was super straightforward. And so you got all these big spice, big cherry, big wood notes, but in a lower proof. And now we actually do, for the last 2 years, we've done separate blends. So now we'll do a True Blue cask blend and a True Blue 100 blend because they're very different. Yeah. So anyways, sorry. Okay. I'm in the weeds here, y'all. Help me.
We like it. This is the kind of stuff we want to know.
Yes, this is exactly what we're interested in. So yeah,
like I said, all the whiskey nerd stuff, that's what we love. This is like our wheelhouse. Awesome.
I need more in my glass though. What's next, Matt? Because I'm
True Blue cask strain.
Oh, good golly. Okay.
Yeah, so the one I have is 39 months, 68.3 from 2017.
You people have no idea how many freaking there's so many stupid.
Yeah, I've got a single barrel pick here, a True Blue cask strength single barrel pick.
Nice.
Found one.
Okay, so I guess so. Basically, the only difference on this one is it's simple. You said it's a slightly different mash on this one to do the True Blue cask strength.
No, so basically, True Blue cask, True Blue 100, Brimstone are all 100% roasted blue corn whiskey. They're on the exact same bill. It's just different levels of age and oak character. Obviously, Brimstone is smoked with Texas scrub oak and tastes nothing like the others. But yeah, no.
Will you tell me how?
I signed the NDA.
I just have to ask.
Well, I can say that we do use real Texas scrub oak. There is wood in the process.
Yeah,
I can attest to that.
It doesn't actually taste like liquid smoke. It just sort of tastes like liquid smoke.
It tastes amazing. That's all I know. That's one of my absolute favorite whiskeys of all time is Brimstone.
Yeah, that's the first Balcones whiskey. Before I worked for them long ago, that was the first Balcones whiskey I had.
Mine too.
Brimstone. Yeah.
Somebody's like, because I was funny, so I was at a wine bar and I was talking to a guy at the winery and he's like, yeah, there's this distillery down in Waco called Balcones. You should check it out. I'm like, okay. I don't think about it. He's like, this is a smoky one, Brimstone. Get that one first. He's like, if you like Ilo, you'll love this. I'm like, okay, that's going to definitely be awesome. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I've been through like at least 4 or 5 bottles of Brimstone, by far more of Brimstone than anything else.
Yeah, when I first started working for it, we get a monthly bottle. So every month we get to take one. And when I first started working there, like 2 or 3 months, the first 2 or 3 monthly bottles I had were all Brimstone. And I just would crawl back to my little studio apartment and just drink Brimstone by myself. And then I had to make it and had to be a part of the production process for it. And I was like, man, this fucking sucks. I hate this thing. I can't tell you how we make it, but I can tell you that like at the end of the day, being involved in that process, you're like kind of covered head to toe in either wood shavings or just like ash, just like dust and soot and just char in your nose. You're like blowing out for like a whole day. It sucks.
I want to come on that day. Can I come on that day?
Yeah, for real.
I want to be part of that day.
You be part-timer, come in, sign the NDA for an afternoon.
Done.
Works for me. That sounds amazing.
You can cover me in soot. I don't mind.
Yeah. If I get covered in whiskey soot, I'm okay with this plan.
Okay. Yeah. Happy guy.
Whiskey soot.
Right. A great day.
Oh,
regular
soot, not so yummy smelling.
So just to compare while we're on it, so Trey brought us, Kuntz was over here earlier and brought the Texas Whiskey Club. So you're going to talk about the Texas Whiskey Club thing that went on this past weekend. And this was the winner. So tell everybody what this is for the true.
It was super fun. We were super honored to host like 6 whiskey clubs from around Texas, and I think even a handful of folks from Oklahoma, from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So it was predominantly Suburban Society, DFW Whiskey Club, Austin Bourbon Hunters, Waco Whiskey Club, and there are a few others, and there's someone say whiskey. But yeah, it was about over 300 people who came to the distillery, and we did raffles. We raffled off a 10-year anniversary set. Brujeria, Hechiceros. We raffled off a bottle of Mirador. We raffled off Brimstone Resurrection and a bunch of other 5-year anniversary bottles too. And it was a great time. And then we also had whiskey games. We had barrel rolling competitions, and and people could earn raffle tickets in other ways. We had house tours. But yeah, the idea was just like bringing everyone together to one like central location in the middle of kind of where all the clubs could meet. And yeah, it was great. But one of the big features of it was that the admins of the clubs came in a couple months in advance, like last year, and they selected out of 20 casks with us, they selected 6 that were going to be voted on at the event. So when you came in the door, you would go and vote at the event, and you drink the 6 samples and turn in your ballot. And then the top 3, we had the pre-bottle. So we had all 6 bottles, and then we sold the top 3 barrels there that day. And it ended up being what it ended up being. Oh yeah, it ended up being a almost 5-year TBC barrel, true blue cask barrel, and then I think a 40-month or under 4-year or maybe 4-year true blue cask barrel. It was 100% wild turkey, which is really cool. So it kind of looked like baby. It was like super low wood impact, but really old and kind of salty and refined and like saltwater taffy-ish. And then there was a malt and Hechiceros too. But it was a great day. We had a great time. That cask, so I think the one that you have is the older TBC, and it was wild. It's got notes of like sassafras and forest floor and kind of like, real like kind of dark earthy notes, but also the kind of like sweet root beery cream soda notes that are some of our older corn stuff is known for. But yeah, I was really into it. It was really neat.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, Arthur Lopez is sharing all the deets here. 57 months in X4 Roses and 44 months in X Oloroso is a single malt.
Nice. Yeah, sounds real good.
I think, yeah, cool. Anyway.
Delicious.
Well, we have some sherry finish right over here.
So Mike Meyer was our first person to actually buy coasters. So they came in the mail to him today. He's using one right now. So very excited you got those, Mike.
Oh, awesome. But hey, I don't want this to be only about me. I don't know y'all as, we're meeting each other. I've seen y'all around. But like, what do y'all, how long has Whiskey Crusaders been around? I don't have that much context. Our committee doesn't pop through.
Yeah, our show's been around for a year, and our club been around for 2 years. But I've been into whiskey.
Oh, you're part of a club.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have quite the event at Matt's house.
Yeah, so funny. So actually, Clint Shaw, I assume you know who that is.
Yeah.
You guys, I guess it doesn't work for you guys anymore, but Balcones was the very first event we ever had here. Was when the rye and the rye cask strength came out. Clint came over, did our first event for us, and there was probably about 25 of us here for the first event, which was fun. That's how it started, and
that's awesome.
Kind of rolled and rolled. Now we've had distillers from all over the world come in, and people flying from all over the world. There's people come in from Scotland, Denmark,
no way,
Washington, Georgia. Yeah, people come in from all over. We've done stuff
awesome.
with Allen, Highland Park, Westland, Sagamore, Bruichladdich. Cool. Yeah, we've had big names in here.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, you'll have to get us up there at some point. That'd be fun. I'm sorry.
Have you come do it. We just did those two because that was the start of this journey. But yeah, we'd love to have you guys come up and do a full giant Balcones tasting. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be so fun. I love that. I dig it. We could bring some off the book stuff too. We've got some weird shit lying around.
Oh, see, that's like our opening. Like, do you have any weird shit? Let's go to those barrels. That's the ones we want.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's like the magic secret password.
Buy that barrel because that's the barrel we want to buy.
I'm all about the weird.
Oh yeah,
weird crap you got. Please tell me. That's
yeah.
What
We've got. We've got some very obscure random shit in the corners of the warehouse.
Especially if it's a malt and it's funky. Oh, please sign me up. I'm all about it.
Yeah, like Josh says. Josh, obviously you know who Josh Galladay is from Texas.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
So Josh has been
Josh
to our event, and he knows what kind of crazy shit goes on around here. So we have a really good time, and we do
quite insane,
amazing things for sure.
It's awesome.
This is good.
Weird shit life.
What's next, folks?
Well, yeah, here a little tip for y'all. If you want some weird stuff, if you're ever in the room, you ask about our fig brandy.
Okay.
There you go. I piqued your interest. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anything weird? Yeah, like same thing when we go see Robert up at Iron Root, and sometimes he comes and hangs out here too with us. We always go and say, Robert, what weird crap do you have? It's always like, I have this and this and this.
Oh yeah, no, their pockets got to be so deep and weird, man. They love it.
So
because they have that little still too. They've got that little Christian Carl still, and I think they get into some strange dark shit in the evenings, man. On that thing, it's so fun. They can do like little things on that. It's awesome.
It's a great time. So yeah, we definitely need to do some stuff together for sure.
What's the fun?
All right, so that I think covers your corn. The only corn one it doesn't cover, I guess, is Brimstone. Do you want to do Brimstone? I think Brimstone's going to be a palate wrecker if we do Brimstone now.
Yeah,
we'll hold that one off just because it's amazing.
Yeah, that's how we feel too.
So what I think, like I said, my favorite, but let's do Rumble because Rumble's different, unique, and really cool.
Rumble's weird.
Like I said, we love the weird shit. So tell them what Rumble is, since it's not technically a whiskey.
Yeah, so Rumble is a distilled spirit specialty. I mean, we made it up. It's our own thing. It's California mission figs, turbinado sugar or demerara sugar. It really depends on what's available. And then Texas wildflower honey.
Okay.
And it's labor intensive. It's expensive to make. But it was kind of our take on, I think it was at a time when we wanted to do rum, but we were maybe weren't quite ready to commit to a molasses or a molasses supplier. We just didn't have it. And then we were also interested in brandy, but there isn't that much at least at the time, because we made Rumble's our second product. We made Baby Blue and then we made Rumble.
Oh, okay.
We may have actually made Rumble before Baby Blue, but I think we released Baby Blue first and then Rumble. But anyways, yeah, Rumble is kind of this weird hybrid with all the sugar and the honey. We're definitely with the sugar, you kind of like this rummy estery stuff, and that kind of sugary sweetness. And then you also, from the figs and the wildflower honey, you get this floralness and these really refined fruit notes from the fig. You're already starting with kind of these dark fruit notes. You don't even need the barrel for it. And yeah, it's very interesting. I love it. I love our Cask Reserve, Rumble Cask Reserve. That's my mom's favorite one of ours. Is Rumble Cask Reserve. She digs that big time.
That one.
Yeah, we do a cask one of that. And predominantly, Rumble goes into new European and French oak. And we keep it around. We're not intentionally growing that one, only because it's a hard thing to go into market outside of Texas. It's one thing to be right next door or right downtown in DFW or in Houston, and oh yeah, Rumble. It's kind of Texas wildflower honey and demerara. It's our own thing. It's really sweet. I think people can get it, and they've had it in a cocktail. They've seen it around. But then try going to Illinois and selling someone Rumble, and they're just like, "What? Y'all did what?" It doesn't translate. So a lot of our products already with our corn line, it takes work to kind of explain. Oh, so this is a bourbon. No, it's not a bourbon. It's a corn whiskey. Well, what's a corn whiskey? Oh, well, it's put into used barrels. Oh, why would you use new? So we already have things in our portfolio that requires a shitload of explanation. So we've kind of with Rumble, we're kind of keeping it local. The great thing about Rumble that I think all of us on the production staff still really dig is that we finish a lot of our malt in Rumble. So we'll dump Rumble barrels and then mature single malt in it, and that is some of our favorite juice is ex-Rumble single malt. So yeah, anyways, that's kind of the long and short of it.
Okay, so I also have the Cask Reserve.
Yeah,
this was 2016. So I hid this one for myself on purpose because I freaking love this whiskey.
We did some really cool releases. HBS, Houston Bourbon Society, just bought 3 Rumble single barrels off of us, and also a club in DFW Whiskey Club bought 2 off of us. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and Houston Bourbon Society bought a what was it? It was an Oloroso finished one, a tequila finished one, and then a French oak, kind of whole maturation in French oak, and they were pretty rad. We've actually got some pretty old, we've got 6-7-year-old Rumble cask in the warehouse. It's funny, I manage the casks in the warehouse, and sometimes just for fun, I'll go through and look at the oldest stuff every couple of months just to see. And you have to go a long ways down before you see anything like in age and oldest age, other than like rumble and rum. It's a little frustrating sometimes. It's like I think you have to go 30 barrels down to find like the oldest single malt, but the rest is just like rum and rumble and corn whiskey, and then you get all the way down to like.
Can you tell us how old the oldest single malt you have in the warehouse is?
The oldest single malt we have in the warehouse is we have some 5 years predominantly.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, we a lot of 4 year, a couple 5 years. But yeah,
Stuff that's new oak the whole time, or new oak?
No, that's just predominantly in used oak. It's in our own used ISC barrels, Independent State Company barrels.
Very cool.
I like
Yeah.
this guy.
Sorry, just a question.
No, that's great. Yeah, the oldest thing we have in the warehouse is actually a 6.5-year-old rum that we're going to release in the summer. I think it's in May or June. We're doing something called Tiki Fest, and we're going to release that 7-year rum, some rums that spent their whole maturation in Madeira casks.
Ooh.
Which is pretty interesting. They're
What day that is?
Huh?
You know what day that is yet?
Let me see. Let me look it up real quick.
If we can make it down there, we need to come to that. That sounds amazing. If I can tell me that much ahead of time, I can maybe put on the calendar and come.
Let's see. Where is Tiki Fest? Let me look it up real quick. I think they're calling it Rum Fest, but everyone's calling it Tiki Fest.
Okay.
I think I have it here as May 30th.
Josh Galladay says, I will need all the Mirador cask rum. You're going to have to share with me.
I have it here as May 30th.
Oh, boo. Oh, actually, where, though?
Balcones.
Yeah,
In Waco?
Balcones. Yeah.
Well, Matt, that'll be the weekend we're traveling back.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is.
We're gonna be down at we're gonna be down in Austin going for our level 2 whiskey somm the week before.
So
that
26
Saturday.
and 27.
Yeah,
With the Wizards.
With the Wizards.
with the Wizards.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. To convince my mother-in-law to stay another day.
There you go.
I saw Trey Kuntz asking when we'll release the next Mirador.
Mm-hmm.
I have good news.
Ooh.
Well, we just finished the blend like last week, and it's being bottled on Monday.
Yes.
So it's coming. It'll be distributed all over Texas again. I don't know if it's $79.99 or $89.99. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, it's going to be distributed. This time, the last Mirador release in 2018 was 8 barrels, and this next one is 15 barrels.
Nice.
Good.
So we tried to get it bigger, but it's a tricky one. It's very fickle.
Well, speaking of, I think I'm going to go ahead and pour that next since you said it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, me too.
Okay. Oh, yeah. The only thing I wanted to cover maybe the rum. Do you want to do the rum first or do Mirador first?
All right, let's do the rum first.
Just do rumble.
Yeah, sure, do rum. Do it.
Fill in my drink.
Yeah.
All right. So 68.5% the rum. This is from 2017.
Cool.
So tell us about your awesome rum, that my favorite rum ever made.
Yeah. I mean, rums are very close. I think, close, near and dear to us a little bit because they're kind of, they're one of like the other spirits, I think, in Texas that kind of like make sense naturally as a brown spirit. There is sugarcane here. There is some sugar refining here, and in states close by. So you can get some pretty decent domestic molasses sources. That was probably made on international molasses, more or less like commodity. Well, not commodity molasses. It's like obviously food grade and very good stuff, but it's kind of like it's batched internationally and it comes together, and then we buy it from a broker. But we've moved into domestic stuff lately. The last 2 years, I think 2 or 3 years, we've been working with domestic molasses. And it's about 20% blackstrap molasses and then 80% what's called light Barbados, which is just like kind of a lighter, sweeter molasses, less like kind of funky and dark and kind of burnt flavor molasses. And yeah, it's actually super fun. We really like our rums, but we do start with the caveat that we don't make rum like rum makers. We make rum like a bunch of guys who learned how to make whiskey like 10 years ago. You know,
Just the way I like it.
Yeah, and so because of that, you know, there's a lot of new oak in it, so it's pretty big oaky structure and wood character, as well as like the big burnt sugar flavors and molasses esters.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we really dig that one. I love our Texas rum, and that's why we're so excited about Rum Fest this summer. It's just like, you know, summer hits, and we don't want to drink Brujeria and Froke on ice in the summer. You know, we want something fun and fresh. So even though that's great, even though that would be awesome, when it gets hot, you know, we have our white rum at our bar. Yeah, so you can have it in a cocktail at our bar and do a pour, or you can get a bottle in the tasting room of our white rum, and it's the only place we have it currently. But yeah, the idea behind our rum too is we underpitch, so we heavily stress the yeast to make some kind of nut and crazy flavors. And then we also do a super long, like almost month-long fermentation. We do about a 28-day fermentation on that and just let it go. It's gross and weird and nasty and acidify. We get lots of notes of kind of like cigar box on that. There's kind of like a cedary cigar box note. Cigar wrapper kind of note.
That over?
Go ahead.
During that fermentation process, are you pumping that over, or are you just letting it sit on top?
Oh, it's just we have an agitator that's running running pretty slow, but enough to kind of if there's yeast alive, they'll be able to come up in solution easily. But no, for the most part, it's just like sitting. It's just kind of like, I don't know what you want to. It's not putrefying, but it's close.
Yeah.
So it gets pretty funky, and we've actually just started getting into dundering the last like year and a half, where you take if you are familiar with sour mash bourbon, where you take part of the pot ales from the wash run or the stripping run out, and you use it to kickstart your next fermentation. I mean, that's a kind of analogous to what the dunder is, but essentially it's you take your rum pot ales from your wash distillation and you let it kind of sit and putrefy and get gross. And sometimes they'll add molasses, or they'll add dead yeast cells, or they'll add like sugarcane fibers, like shredded sugarcane, and it'll
just more sugar for it to eat.
Yeah, and it basically becomes this cocktail of esters and funk and flavor, and then they use that in the next distillation. So we started doing that a little bit, and that's kind of when we started bottling the white rum. Was like, hey, we really like it where this is white. It's really funky, really estery, has a lot of character and a lot of fruit notes to it. So we're gonna roll with it white. Anyways, that's the long of it. Sorry.
Very cool. No, that's awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah, like this is like definitely the whiskey. If you not into rum, it's a good one to start with, because this is a whiskey drinker's rum by far.
Yeah, it is.
It's so freaking delicious. So we got a couple of questions. Trey wants to know about the Texas Bach. Can you tell us anything about it?
Ooh, an insider. What Texas Bach? Get out of here. What are you asking about?
That's a no.
I mean,
okay.
I think it's. I don't know if I should talk about it, but I do. It's a release that's coming up.
Okay.
And
That's it.
I mean, there's a cola form out there. So some nerds go pretty deep, and they're looking to see like what kind of labels we're submitting to the federal government.
We have nerds that do that,
kind of question.
so they know.
But yeah, we are doing a collaboration with a very predominant and acclaimed Texas brewery. They have a famous Bach style beer.
Gee, I wonder who
may or may not have turned that Bach style beer into a whiskey.
Are you serious?
She would take my favorite Texas beer, put one of my favorite Texas whiskeys, and put it together. That sounds amazing.
Sounds like
I
heaven.
mean, and that is alleged. That is alleged. Okay, and allegedly,
It's all good.
allegedly it may retail for like $39.99, and allegedly it may be 100 proof, but I don't know. They don't tell me anything.
And
Allegedly, when
we see
would I
this.
be able to find something like this to have like?
That will allegedly drop in April.
That's
But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit out there. We've had a collaboration with that brewery. They finished some of their wine. They finished some of their beer. They did a Marzen with us last year in some of our single malt barrels. And they've been kind of jonesing for some more barrels, but they wanted it with a unique take on their own products. And so, it was kind of a no-brainer. We're like, hey, well, we'll turn your biggest beer into a pretty awesome whiskey.
Okay. Yeah.
So awesome.
I'm stupid.
That's going to be a great birthday present for you.
That's gonna be a great birthday present for me.
If I can find it.
Right. What are we moving on to? I really want to do that, but
Mirador. What would be better water?
I'm nibbling on Mirador a little bit.
All right, we'll do Mirador then. Works for me. I'm not going to say no to Mirador. Nice.
Oh, Celeste and the Mirador.
Here it is, Mirador. So
we got a mini bottle down.
Mirador. So tell about Mirador because this has got a cool story.
Oh yeah, we love Mirador. I think we're known for big, brash, rich, robust, bold, kind of sometimes over the top stuff. And so, but in house and behind the scenes, the stuff that we get the most excited about, I think, even now, is our refill malts. Is our malt new make that's gone into used bourbon or our own used ISC, particularly used rumble or used rum or something like that. So yeah, Mirador was it was Zach, our blender, Zach Pilgrim passed away a year ago. We're almost a year. This is the year anniversary of his passing in March 21st, I think, when he officially passed. But he and Jared, I think, always wanted to see, they had a heavy Scotch influence, especially Jared, and they wanted to see where our spirits would go in a different environment other than kind of really big, like new oak and big oak character and big wood character. So yeah, they started kind of curating casks that had notes of fennel and had notes of herbs and had notes of really delicate apricot Danish. And I think someone said brioche in the comments. That's spot on. Just like very light, no wood, very little spice, just a little wood sugar, but predominantly just the distillate doing its thing. And Mirador was kind of born through this selective process. And it was Zach and Jared's kind of brainchild. They worked on it very closely together, as well as Hechiceros from Brujeria. And yeah, we love it. It's great. It's a real nice change from what we normally have. Something that's elegant and refined, approachable, yet really strong at almost 55% ABV. And yeah, it's just it's a joy. It's really fun. It's probably my favorite thing we've ever done. And I was honored to be able to kind of, with Jared, do this last round and spend the time that we did on it. And we hope that people really dig it.
Oh, I have no doubt. Yeah, that hunger really makes such a big difference on this one.
The next round is 36 months. We're trying to steer some of our malts to be 36 months plus, because it's nice to have one. We want to grow up and we want to have a cask program that lets things get a little older and see what happens when they go the distance a little bit. Even though this is 23 months minimum barrel in this was 23 months old. There is some 4-year-old stuff in here as well. 4-year-old stuff.
Oh, cool.
Kind of the best this time blending it to say, okay, let's use 36. So this could go to the UK, no problem, and they could still call it whiskey, and it could kind of fly in the face of tradition. This distillery thing that's elegant and graceful with golden promise Scottish stills.
Out of all of the products that you guys have, I didn't see this one over at Matt's house. Eric Evanson is commenting, I would like to see a malt finished in that amazing rye you make.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got some of that. We've got some of that lying around.
Yeah.
Come on down. Come on by and mention the podcast. I'll hook you up.
Okay.
Mention the channel. Mention the channel, not the podcast. Mention the channel. Sorry. I'm old. I'm like an elderly millennial. I don't know the difference anymore.
It's the same thing. It's fine.
It's whatever.
Elderly
Whiskey Crusaders, you're good.
Yeah. So, anyways, so Mirador is lovely, and we thank you. Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate when people are excited about it. This is the thing that we're most excited about. So when other people are excited about it, it's very affirming.
I was very excited. I was finally able to get a second bottle. So I hid this bottle because I'm like, well, crap, I'm not going to get another one. Then I got another one. So I was very excited. I can drink this one now. It's delicious and so unique and different. It still has the Balcones fingerprint on it. Because I know we opened it in the store over at Mirage. And they're like, oh, we need to open that one. I'm like, okay, we will open it. Of course, that was 2 years ago, but it's all good.
Yeah, I've got the one open here. I already killed one bottle. I have this one still open. I think I have maybe 1, 2 more. But yeah, even at the distillery, we're down to like 2 cases of that one.
Oh, wow.
We didn't hold back nearly as much as we should have.
Hey, good whiskey's meant to be drank. Otherwise, it's just sitting in a bottle and nobody's enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the point?
Okay, so do you want to go on the rye? Do you want to go into your bourbon? Do you want to go into your ryes?
I want to drink the rye.
Oh, cool. Let's do rye. Why not?
Okay, so we got the regular rye, and we got the So we'll start with the regular 100 proof rye. So tell us, this is, of course, a very special, unique rye. So tell them all the cool stuff about this 15-month rye.
Yeah, sure. So, the age statement here is, like you said, 15 months. That's starting in March. Our blends are going to be 24 months plus. And that was more just like, we're trying to grow all of our products. We don't want to be a 12-year-old distillery that's making its name on, something that could be straight, but we just need to give it a little bit more time and change the entry proof a little bit, and do some experiments. So our rye is 100 proof and 100% rye, which I think is pretty unique. We do use enzymes. We're not super bashful about that. Obviously, we need.
Okay, so instead of using malted rye, you actually are just using some enzymes to get things going.
We use enzymes. I mean it's 100% rye, but it's really 4 ryes, and you're right. There are 2 malted ryes in there that are kilned differently. But it's 84% Elben rye, which is from Texas, which is it actually has a history in Texas as a crop. And then in 2017 or 2016, I guess we released it in 2016. So we got the harvest in we released it in 2017. So we got the harvest in 2016. But in 2016, we sourced some rye through a grain broker and basically just had them harvest cover crop. Could you just harvest some Elben for us? I know it's in common. People were distilling with it, So that's the Elben portion. That's the Texas portion. And then 16% of it is also rye, but it's specialty rye from Germany, from Weyermann, which is a maltster in Germany. It's 10% Cara rye, which is malted and then kilned to kind of the chocolate flavor window or the caramel flavor window. And then it's 3% chocolate rye, which is also malted and roast and kilned. And then it's 3% roasted rye. So sorry, that's 84 and then 10 Cara, 3 chocolate, 3 roasted. And the roasted rye is just raw rye that's kilned. It's not malted.
Okay.
Because of that, it definitely has some green notes, but there's it's enveloped and kind of smothered a little bit in a layer of this kind of soft chocolate. Yeah, so these chocolate notes, kind of espresso notes and mocha notes, and as well as some pops of not really caraway, but more like candied fennel or kind of maybe a little mint. I do get some mint Oreo and some spearmint, but mostly in the new thing.
Charles just said what I was thinking. Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah, Tootsie Rolls big time. And that's the big difference between our 100, this one, and the Cask strength. I think the 100 trends towards more like Tootsie Roll, Hershey's chocolate, more like candy bar chocolate. And then the Cask strength one is more like Baker's chocolate. It has a bittersweet note. It's just a little darker, a little bit more like cocoa flavored.
Mm. Yeah.
I love your rye, and we're not
rye fans, and you're.
Oh, you like our rye?
I love that rye.
It's so flattering.
Rye. There's no other rye like it.
It's not a typical rye at all.
Right. We don't like rye. We don't like that pickle note. We don't like that dill in that anise. the root beer. Those are not notes that I like in a whiskey. So
Sure.
you don't have any of those notes in your rye. So I love your rye. It's amazing.
So there's a question from Arthur about the rye. He says, do you ever have issues with the rye balls during fermentation, those used fermenter towers that you have?
Do we ever have any issues with what?
Rye balls.
Rye balls.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like, like the gunking up of the rye.
Oh yeah, sure. We use.
Just don't call it that.
So yeah, we use. I think because the enzyme program. So we obviously have enzymes that we're using to convert starches into sugars in our cereal cooker and in our fermenters. But then we also have a couple. We have a enzyme that we use that helps lower the viscosity, so kind of make things move a little bit easier. And because of that, we don't often have problems with the rye kind of mucking the system and clumping together. I think that actually we're pretty proud that we're able to get rye fermentations down to, we'll have 9.5%, 10% ABV rye washes, which is pretty high. I think normally they're probably 6.5%, 7% ABV for most producers, but we kind of pack a lot of proof gallons into like a denser, narrower space. Anyways.
That's so good.
It's so good.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, so the cask strength, so for me, this is top 3 ryes I've ever had in my life, is this cask strength. And this is my third after the Black Prince and from Whistle Pig and the Booker's Rye. This is my favorite, third one ever. It's a damn good company. But this one I've got is like a 65 or 63.3. It's kind of hard to read the writing. This one's from 2019. But yeah, this is oh my gosh, it's so freaking amazing.
So good.
It's dark chocolate for days.
I love it.
Oh, you got the cask strength?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking magic.
Yeah, no, I dig that one so much.
Chances are, if you name a Balcones whiskey tonight, Matt's going to pull it out, and so are we. It's kind of insanity.
Right.
Yeah, Matt's insane.
What I don't have is one we tried with Josh, which is that port was it port or PX, whatever it was, the Brimstone.
PX Brimstone.
Yeah, that thing was amazing.
That was really, really epic. I remember that.
Oh, it's so good.
I like a ride too, man. It's yummy.
Yeah, it really is.
It makes a great old fashioned. It's really yummy. It's fun because it already has a lot of those components. It already has some of the sweetness and the body, and the bitters.
Orange peel.
Orange peel, chocolate covered orange. And
Yeah, big time.
I never thought about using for old fashioned. That's a good idea. I might have to make one of those later. That sounds delicious with it.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I so love this rye. It's so freaking good and so different. That's probably why I like it so much. It's so vastly different.
It's fun to hear you all say this because I will admit that like our rye can be pretty polarizing. I think it's people who are like, wow, I never really liked ryes that much. But yours is like really approachable and there's so many other elements to it and it's not just green. But then there's other people who are like, fuck you guys, that's not rye. And it's like, whatever,
How can we say it's not rye? It's 100% rye. It couldn't get more ryer than it is.
Couldn't get more ryer than it is.
But it doesn't present itself with
as
all of the normal rye.
Yeah,
not all of any
so screw them.
Yeah.
There's there's hardly any mint. I will say there's a little bit of mint.
There's a
little bit of mint. There's no dill. No pickle. There's no root beer. There's almost no anise. There's some clove. There's a black pepper ding that I associate with rye that I get with this, but it's definitely not prominent, and it only hits mid-palate towards the end. So, a lot of the things that are, very rye-like in normally it's just not in your rye. So,
and
people that love rye are probably not going to love your rye, but people that don't love rye are probably going to love your rye.
Yeah, we actually have a small proportion in the warehouse. To help with this bill a little bit, we have a small proportion of 100% raw, like 100% elephant, so without the specialty. Like that, it's a little bit more like Indiana, Kentucky kind of style, but we use it to sometimes the chocolate can be too much. You get almost like meal. There's chocolate flavor. It's like a wet chocolate graham cracker. you know, and it can just be overpowering. And so we have a little of that in house to kind of just like and some of that and blending. But like sometimes it's awesome, and sometimes you're like, man, I'm digging this. It's like chewy and it's got notes of caraway, and this is red. And other times you're just like, holy crap! It's like Jewish deli dill pickle. And yeah, like I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
no, I can't. I love pickle, but my friend.
I went to where did I go? I went to college. I went to graduate school in Kentucky. And so because of that, this was like in 2010 to 2012. So I drank a lot of Willet. It was like one of the only things that I can afford as like a poor graduate student was just like, you know, the $25 green label of Willet. And it crushed me some Willet. So I do have a fond spot for like that kind of style, that big, brash, spicy, green nuts rye. But yeah, I think I do lean towards like softer, kind of sweeter. Yeah.
No, I love that spicy rye too. Willet, awesome stuff.
What'd you just pour, Matt?
Oh, some more of the rye cast strength because
Heard that.
we're gonna keep talking about it. I'm gonna keep drinking it.
What's
so, Dram Band, they command wants to know about the enzyme process. Is it frowned upon, or does nobody really care how the ends at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are people who it's a point of pride that they're only using androgynous enzymes or enzymes that are already on the grain. So they're only using the enzymes found in malted barley or in malted rye or malted wheat or whatever they're doing.
They're purists, right? There are people that think that it's not pure because you had to do it's all a bunch of
You have to
malarkey.
trigger it.
If it tastes good in the end, I don't care. I don't care how you got there. I'm not.
Right, and I get it. There's something to like. I mean, I get it. I get. There's something to being idealistic and being curious and saying like, no, like this is the way it used to be made. And there are arguments why you shouldn't make it the way it used to be made. You know, like we used to use carcinogenic producing fertilizer as yeast nutrient that kind of probably wasn't. It made great whiskey. It made some dope ass whiskey. You know, all those 70s. Sign me up. But there's a reason why, it's a reason why we don't use it anymore. But yeah, I think on the enzyme front, like there are people who are pretty proud that they're not doing that. And I think that it's easy to be proud that you're not doing that when your scale is like, okay, if this goes wrong and I get a stuck ferment or it doesn't work, or I mess up this, I don't have enough enzymes and it doesn't fully attenuate because I didn't convert enough starches into sugars. Then yeah, like maybe they're dumping 250, 500 gallons down the drain or 1,000 gallons down the drain. But with us, if we don't have that happen, and if we don't have enough enzymes to convert our starches into sugars, we're leaving proof gallons on the table, and at our scale too. Like we're talking, if one mash doesn't attenuate, or if one mash doesn't fully convert, that's like 20 grand we're pissing down the drain. So it's not, for us, it's an insurance policy to just be like, these starches are going to convert into sugar, no matter what.
Guarantee.
Right.
Yeah, guaranteed. And it's not expensive. I mean, it's more expensive, but it's not like, it's not adding that much more to the price of a bottle than if we were adding barley to something. And also, too, the barley brings a flavor. To have a rye that's, this is 90% rye, and then it's 10% malted barley. It's like, well, you're fermenting on grain. So you did that, and fermenting on barley, particularly milled barley, it brings some husky tannic flavor. So it is affecting the final product in some way. So it's really just a choice, and we've chosen to use enzymes, and yeah.
Well, you know what? It tastes good.
It tastes freaking
Thanks,
good.
John.
Bourbon.
That's all that matters.
I say bourbon next, and I think there's a good transition with
Let's
the high.
do your the basic. Regular pot still bourbon.
Basic bitch. The pot still bourbon.
It's a damn good basic bitch.
Basic
Hey,
bit.
you can't beat this for $30. Pot still bourbon.
No.
It's damn good.
Oh, yeah, it's like
In 24 months, like this is bottle number 2. I'm just like, oh, what
We've
about
gone through 3 bottles.
in mobility?
We've gone through 3 bottles already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
In not very many months.
not very many.
We typically a lot of bottles of different things, but Balcones is one of the things that I go through a lot of Balcones. It just
Yeah, we do too.
that's
Yeah, we-
one of you that gets replaced fairly frequently,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of freaking
bitch.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna put it on my bottle.
Galley, you're not about basic.
All right, so I guess
Say
it's
that.
all about the beautiful basic bitch.
So yeah,
Pot
So pot still bourbon was, I mean, it's a long story, but I'll give it to you. Whatever. We're here, you know.
It's a long story. Yeah. I want to hear it.
I think one guy commented about what to get back into Canada. A lot of bottles here was expensive. And I think
hang on a second, Gabriel. I'm sorry. Back up just a little bit from your mic. When you lean forward, you start breaking up a little bit.
There we go. Okay, back to normal. There you go. That better?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think affordability and just like something that people can get behind, and kind of like a gateway drug into Balcones, was started to be kind of pressing for us as we grew, because we realized, like, you know, a lot of other brands have like this entry level product that is more approachable and more affordable, and I think we started lower proof too.
Lower proof. Most of your stuff that comes out is 53 or higher. So
yeah. And Jared puts it this way, and I agree. Our head distiller, my boss, he puts it this way, and I agree with him. That in Waco, in Central Texas, we have a lot of friends who want to support us, and they're excited about Texas whiskey, and they're excited to be a part of it. But then it just kind of kills us when, like, you know, we got close friends who can't afford the stuff, because it's $60, $70, $80 a bottle, and we never got into making whiskey to make something so premium and luxury that, like, our friends and family felt like that they couldn't, you know, spring to support us and buy it.
Right.
So there were a lot of things going into pot still bourbon, but really it was also that we had a ton of blue corn bourbon and wheated bourbon on hand, and we were like, okay, like, this isn't going to move at $59, $70 a piece. We're not going to sell hundreds of barrels of cask strength wheated bourbon. We could try. We'll probably sell 20 or 30 or 40, but we're not going to sell as much as we probably need to. And we started messing with our mash bills and combining bourbon mash bills. And so pot still bourbon was kind of born of combining blue corn bourbon, wheated bourbon, and high-rye bourbon. And a behind the scenes one that we like to call high malt bourbon, which we've never released and never will, but it's 51% or 55% roasted blue corn, 45% golden promise malted barley that's run through our mash tun.
Why would you automatically say you're never going to release that? If I might ask,
it was only a fix to kind of make pot still the way that we wanted it to be made. To give it some, like, pronounced red fruit and some red apple and that kind of stuff. So, anyways,
okay,
you're good. So we had those bills, and we decided to combine those bills and kind of build something out of them. And so pot still bourbon ends up being I always get wheated and pot still mixed up. Yeah, pot still bourbon is about Shiza. It's like 70%. It's actually there's actually a lot of corn in it. It's like 70% roasted blue corn, and then like maybe 25% wheat, 4% golden promise, and then it ends up being about 1% rye.
Interesting.
So it's like way on the blue corn end of the spectrum. But that's the other thing that's cool about it, is that it's not like, oh, we wanted to make an affordable bourbon, and so we bought yellow dent corn and 2-row barley, the cheapest rye we could find from Canada or Colorado. It was like, hey, this is roasted blue corn, this is Texas wheat, this is Texas rye, and this is golden promise malted barley. You can get it at specs or total for $26, $27.
Right.
You know, and honestly, like, I've been in stores, selling a single barrel or supporting our sales staff, and we'll have people come up and we're selling a $59.99, $69.99, $79.99 single barrel, and people can't really get into that. But then you know, we got a bottle of pot still bourbon or rye there, and the rye is $33, and the pot still bourbon is $28. They can get behind that, and they can get on board, and they'll get into that, and then later they'll get into single malt, and later they'll get into some other stuff and kind of have that come to Jesus, that come to whiskey moment, you know? But yeah, so that's kind of the idea behind it. And it's meant to be approachable. It's meant to be kind of mixable. Sometimes when we finish a blend and we're down between a couple of blends, we'll take that and a couple other Texas bourbons and maybe a couple Kentucky bourbons. We'll take them down to the bar and we'll mix them all on, we'll weigh out the ice and we'll measure out volumes of Coca-Cola and we'll mix it on Coke because like we know like that's how some people are gonna have it.
Yeah.
And we don't mind that. I dig that. I love it.
As long as you're buying the juice, I don't care how you drink it.
Yeah. And I think last time we did Pot Still Bourbon and Dr. Pepper. We don't, because Dr. Pepper was invented in Waco, and so we've got a lot of them at hand. We don't always have Coca-Cola. So we did Pot Still Bourbon and Dr. Pepper.
This one, Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I like Brimstone Dr. Pepper. Smoky Dr. Pepper is amazing.
Smoky Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, Brimstone and Dr. Pepper is awesome.
Oh man, that's awesome. That sounds rad.
Find that one. That is the best.
Don't look at me. He's going to get a Dr. Pepper.
Oh, he's going to get Dr. Pepper? Nice.
I drink Brimstone, obviously neat all the time, but sometimes when I'm watching a movie, I want to drink a diet Dr. Pepper. I put the Brimstone in it, and it's beautiful.
That's awesome. I dig it.
It's so nice.
I don't care if it's going to kill my palate. That sounds amazing. I want to try it.
At some point, will. Don't worry, man. All right, so do you want to? So we've got the
Let's get a different
Texas Blue Corn Bourbon, the Wheated Bourbon, and the High-rye Bourbon. Which one do you think we should do first?
Yes. I mean, Wheated Bourbon is going to be the softest for sure. Maybe start with that.
All right, we'll start with that. So 61.3, the Wheated Bourbon.
Wait, what year is that?
This is a 19.
Dang, man, that's a good one.
Like I said, I got good friends that bring me good whiskey.
I guess so. All mine are closed here.
What do you got, Matt? What are you pouring?
The Wheated Bourbon.
Heard
Yeah,
me.
that's what Captain got us.
Oh, Captain's the best.
Captain's the man.
Captain always makes it happen.
Yes, he does.
That's why his nickname is Captain Make It Happen.
Good peeps.
Wheated bourbon, found it.
Oh
Man, I don't even have a bottle of this at home. Mine are all closed in my closet for like my rainy day retirement fund.
Now, pretty much when it comes to this house, the mass majority is open. Because, like I said, you can't take it with you. You might as well drink it and enjoy it.
That's awesome.
I have some wines back in the yeah. Mm-hmm. I have some of those too.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm going to open them. We'll see.
Also, I find, like Josh says, Brimstone fixes lots of whiskeys.
It really does. That's what I like.
Brimstone will fix it.
Yeah.
It fixes them.
If you get like a green,
Brimstone fixes all the crappy edges of it.
Oh yeah. That's ironic. That's kind of what we use it for. Whenever we have a whiskey, whenever we have juice, it's just like, oh dang, this didn't turn out. It just like whoop, the corn whiskey goes to Brimstone.
That's funny. Yeah, we fix it. We use it to fix all sorts of things.
Smoke covers a multitude of sins.
Yes, it does. You got a green funky note? Brimstone will fix that.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
The,
Exactly.
Like a great ad campaign. Brimstone will fix that.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that good? I love it.
It's so
That's
good.
fucking epic.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper says Brimstone. Okay, who knows?
I'm not a huge soda drinker in general, so that's good.
But y'all did Brimstone or Dr. Pepper?
He's got, yeah.
Oh, that's
I had
awesome.
to try it. I have a huge Dr. Pepper addiction, so I can't not try it.
And it doesn't kill your palate the way just straight Brimstone would.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we've got at the distillery right now in our conference room. We've got a little like mini fridge for like VIPs. We've got diet Dr. Pepper, regular Dr. Pepper, and then like crazy waters. But yeah, we love our Dr. Pepper.
It's because by far the best soda there is Dr. Pepper.
It's fun.
No doubt about it. It's a great Texas product as well. Especially that Dublin Dr. Pepper. Really love that stuff. All the extra imperial sugar in it.
Sorry. Now moving on to what are we doing? Wheated bourbon?
The Wheated bourbon.
Welcome back.
Yeah, sorry. Had to geek out for a minute.
Oh, man, I thought y'all were excited about the Wheated bourbon. You were excited about Dr. Pepper and Brimstone.
Sorry.
Now, all right. So tell us about the Wheated bourbon.
Yeah, the Wheated bourbon. So it's a component. Pot still bourbon is like about half, I'd say, uses the Wheated bourbon mash bill. But yeah, we did a lot of experimentation with this actually to kind of dial in this mash bill. And this one is actually an old experimental R&D one that we did a long time ago that we're actually kind of bringing back. We found it and decided, wow, that one really worked out when it hit like the 3-year mark. So we're kind of gonna look. Sorry, there's a fruit line here. We're kind of gonna try to lay some more down of that. But yeah, I think the idea behind it was that blue corn bourbon is massive. and we use a lot of French oak in that. High-rye bourbon is big and spicy and chocolatey and kind of wallops. And the wheated bourbon, we use kind of a gentler toast profile in the barrels that kind of is a little bit more nuanced, a little bit sweeter, a little bit more delicate. And I think the idea is to kind of have some of that Wellery, maraschino cherry kind of vibe to it a little bit, which is a little different for us.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, yeah, so that's kind of it's still big. I mean, I think you put it next to a lot of Kentucky bourbons, especially at the proof that it's at, and it's really big and monstrous, kind of like we do. But yeah, I think overall for us, it's a little lighter, a little bit more graceful, a little sweeter, a little bit more grain forward. But yeah, we dig that one. It's fun. We're gonna try to do more of that. We're gonna do just between you, me, and the hundreds of viewers. We're going to do some more wheated bourbon later this year. We'll release probably a Texas-wide release of this, because up till now, the only wheated bourbon we've released has been at Special at the distillery. Mm-hmm. But we're going to do a limited Texas release of it later in the year. Probably November, we'll do a release that hits stores around Texas.
I like wheaters, so.
Yeah, I like wheaters too. And we used to call it wheater, and then we were told we had to call it wheated. And there's a little bit of a war going on between parts of the production team, where some people want us to call it wheated and some people want us to call it wheater. I still like wheater.
Yeah, wheater's
wheater. That's just what I always call it. Yeah.
I
like
wheater.
Our production manager likes to correct me, and he goes, "Wheated," and I go, "Wheater." He goes, "Wheated." It's fun.
Wheater.
Have you all distilled any wheat? Have you all done any just straight wheat runs?
That's a good question. Yeah, we did. We distilled. We laid some down right around the time when we laid down a lot of our initial wheated bourbon experimentation. But we might release. We have a few old barrels, like 4 years plus barrels of wheat that we might release. But we weren't really. I mean, I think it was at a time when we wanted to try a lot of things, and when we thought, we need to do a rye, and we've got to do bourbon, and we've got to do wheat, and we've got to do, we've got to do everything. We've got to do a fig brandy. Let's go crazy, But I think we laid all that down. We kind of realized, we like the wheated bourbon way more than we like the wheat. It's nothing special. It's not bad. It's just nothing special to us. So we're kind of holding on to it, and we might sell it. We'll probably release a few barrels here and there. We might sell some of it off.
I'll take them.
I dig it. It's great.
But yeah, we have no plans for a wheat release, even though we have wheat barrels in the works.
Boo.
Sorry, y'all wheat fans.
I do.
I like wheat.
Well,
we like Lone Elm a lot. I like Banner a lot.
Banner's really good. Lone Elm. We've actually bought a couple of barrels from Lone Elm. We really enjoyed the heck out of their wheat whiskey. Right now, they're using little 15-gallon barrels, and they're getting some really, really good flavor out of 6 years in 15 gallons. Really.
Yeah, I've liked their stuff. I've had a little bit of their stuff at a few recent shows, and I think it's really cool. I think they have some really cool nuttiness and some nice really clean sweetness to their juice that I really did.
Did you get a chance to taste the mud that was being passed around?
No.
All the mud.
That thing leaves streaks from the glass when you just pour it. We tried something when Brandon came here, and we picked some barrels with Brandon. He came. It was the first barrel we picked. Made 12. I mean, half a bottle. So the half bottle was that mud. Came out at 159.5.
Fucking
holy. Wait, from them in a 15-gallon?
Down the glass, just pouring through. It was amazing.
Dear God.
And it drank 110.
It's one of the best whiskeys I've ever had.
It's so good.
It was stupid smooth.
Wait, but one barrel produced a half liter?
Half a bottle.
Yeah, the Angels got greedy.
And
very greedy.
It was so dark. And so it was so dark you could hold it up to the sun and you literally couldn't see through the liquid.
Well, took my flashlight from my phone and put it underneath it.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't even shine through.
It wouldn't shine through at all. It was it was mud. It was insane.
That's wild. That's cool.
It was crazy.
Little barrel pitch. That's rad. Huh.
Those are the barrels I want. The ones I can only get a bottle out of. Yes. Give me that.
Yes. That was so good.
Oh, so Donald Rance wants to know, are you guys have any plans to go back into Canada at all?
Yeah, I saw that. 1 second. Yep. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not on the sales. I'm not too tied into the sales end of things. I do know that we were in Canada briefly some time ago. I think when it kind of exploded in 2012 when we won the Best in Glass competition, that we sent a pallet to Japan and a pallet to Canada and a pallet to Australia. And whoosh, just sent some stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think the reason for not being in Canada is just because we weren't competitive because of the taxes and tariffs. But I know I said this earlier, and I'll say it again. But yeah, I mean, obviously we want to be anywhere, but it also does kind of. I don't want to say kills us, but it's like the point isn't to have a super expensive, unattainable, unaffordable product. Even like when our stuff in the UK, to have baby blue that's like 75 pounds or 80 pounds is kind of like, that's not the point. But like we want it to be over there and we want people to see it because we want it to be part of the conversation.
But if it's going to be over there anyway, you might as well send the more expensive stuff. If they're going to spend that kind of money, they should spend another 20 pounds and get something that's going to be worth that kind of.
Yeah, exactly. So we have our single malt over there, and really, like, actually, it's kind of funny, but yeah, Brimstone does really well over there. Because I think
Brimstone does well everywhere.
He just
it's
said
so
it was
sweet.
$180 Canadian here for the single malt.
Yeah, that's. Oh, he's saying he's saying taxes. He's saying taxes. Lol. It was $180 here for the single malt, dude. I can't tell you how that works. I mean, like,
that's horrible.
I can tell you that we are actively trying to reduce the price of our single malt right now in the States. So like, that's probably a distributor thing. I don't know how it works. I mean, we'd like it to be affordable everywhere. We're not telling the Canadian liquor stores or however it works, like, hey, charge this much because you can get it for that product. I mean, we want it to be affordable. We want you to be able to buy it.
Okay. Well, we drank the high-rye bourbon. I'm pouring myself the high-wheat bourbon. I'm sorry, we drank the high-wheat. I'm pouring myself the high-rye.
So, Emily Chambers wants to know, are you guys doing any plans any other grains like oat or anything else? Are you working on any other weird grains you guys are using?
No, I think we're a little bit on the conservative end of that where, not to say that I think it's great that people do experiment with a lot of different types of grains, and I've dug some whiskeys that have some pretty weird stuff in them. But yeah, for us, like I think we're still exploring. I think we would explore maybe a different type of barley, or we'd explore different types of rye or different types of wheats. I think before we got deeper into exploring a different type of grain.
I like that.
Yeah,
makes sense. All right. So the High-rye bourbon, I got this from Mark Tarogino from us for 2018 bottling. I love it. He's like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm like, I will take it off your hands. He's like, I'm confused. I'm like, good, I'll take it. Don't worry about it. He goes, you love it, you can keep it. I was like, good, because I freaking love it.
That's awesome.
So different and so good.
Yeah, that's the High-rye bourbon is kind of odd. It's kind of funny because it's actually it's the Rye 100 mash bill. So it's like the same mash bill here, except
the milk chocolate, not the dark chocolate. Sorry, like when you were.
No, it's all right. Yeah, so you have like obviously bourbon's got to be 51% corn, and so it's 80% corn. And then it's actually quite a lot of rye. Sorry, I misspoke. We have a lot of mash. I get turned around a little bit, but the rye portion of it, which I believe is probably 40% or 39%, is scrunched in the same rye bill from Rye 100 is scrunched into that 40%, and the rest is roasted blue corn. So it does have a little bit of that chocolate, a little bit of that espresso, some of that mocha, but it's a lot less specialty.
A little bit nothing. This is quite chocolatey. It's quite
really chocolatey and really good.
I know it's kind of interesting. I'll crunch the numbers here real quick because if the specialty in I'm on 6. Yeah, so you go from like in Rye 100 you go from 16% specialty, and then on that one you go down to about 6% specialty. But you can see a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah,
It really does. It's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's super like said milk chocolate definitely on this. It's
a
beautiful.
mix of that. It's like chocolate covered corn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
Chocolate covered corn. I dig it. That's awesome.
I dig it for sure.
Yeah. Again, for not being fans of rye,
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick up a bourbon that said High-rye. Like that's not something that I
Really?
would gravitate toward. No, I mean I'm a malt guy anyway. I like malt anyway. But if I am going to drink bourbon, I want it to be, I want it to be something like Ironwood. I want it to be something like your blue corn. I want it to be something unique. I want it to be something a little bit different. Something that's not just your typical, and definitely not a high-rye spice.
what was the proof on that?
It's Will's.
What was the proof on that?
62.
I'd pick it up just one.
Yeah, it's 62. Yeah.
I'm a high proof person, so
High proof pour. There's a name for it. Let's call it what it is.
hashtag.
All right. So we'll move on to my favorite Texas Blue Corn bourbon, which is the 64.6, and this is the 2017 version. I put this in my office. I also have the 10-year anniversary edition. I just really love this one so much. So it's in the office away from me because I drank half of it, almost half, and then I had to put it away. It's just so freaking good. You don't see them real often on the shelves either. So when you occasionally do find the Blue Corn bourbon, it's like my precious, and you need to pick that sucker up immediately. No question. It's just take my money. I'm buying this.
Yeah, this one's
so good.
Yeah,
What's so special about the Texas Blue Corn bourbon?
Yeah, so that one, I mean, it is unique. It is special, and it has some kind of fun like varnishy, shoe polish kind of notes to it as well, and also some really like refined dark fruit, fig and leather and whatnot, and that's coming from the French oak. So I think the big spin on that was Jared and Zach a while ago realizing that they really liked our roasted blue corn at cask strength and French oak. So the initial kind of release of that was like 30% French oak and then 70% American oak, and we've maintained that. We have a lot of our blue corn bourbon in French oak.
Okay.
Because I think that for whatever reason at cask strength, it really works well with that French oak.
Amazing.
Yeah, and the corn works really well, I think, too. I think roasted blue corn just lends itself to the French profile a little bit.
Well,
the nuttiness is already there. That like chestnutty butter, earth, the forest floor notes are already kind of there. So
A little bit of that coconut seep through.
Yeah.
You know what we should do? We should do an episode of corn and whiskey. I think that'd be good. Corn on the cob. Get different types of corn on the cob and try them. Be good. I think we should try that.
I dig it. Corn on the cob bacon.
Corn?
Yeah, with bacon wrapped corn. Oh, it's even better. I like that plan.
Ooh.
Grill it all up. Oh, it sounds.
We can get Brian involved, have him smoke some shit.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
Ooh, smoked
We'll do
corn.
that.
Smoked corn.
We could even do smoked corn, Matt. That'd be even better.
Corn.
Then we could drink the Brimstone.
I like the way we think. These are all good plans.
Bacon and corn.
I was so excited when I found this one 3 years ago. Just it's so freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely fun. Yeah, we dig that one. It's really near and dear for sure. And honestly, like it's kind of neat too to have a true blue cask and then also a blue corn bourbon, because they can be really similar, but obviously like because they're both roasted blue corn, but with the new oak on blue corn bourbon, you do get a lot more of the oak character. And you get some of that darker shoe polishy stuff. And then the true blue cask really is just kind of like when you have a lot of evaporation in a used barrel, and maybe it's a lightly used barrel, but yeah, you have a lot of evaporation, and it just kind of like condenses, and I don't know, gets really thick. That the blue corn grain notes really jump out really big, and it's less of a marriage between wood and more just like dark, old, refined roasted blue corn.
Definitely, yeah. In my office is the blue corn bourbon and the true blue cask strength. They sit next to each other. It's my two special bourbons that are in there, hidden away.
Cool.
I hate to be the guy that makes us go faster, but we've got about 25 minutes, and Matt, I still have 10 sample bottles sitting in front of me. If you want to get through all these, but you got to start talking.
Okay, fine.
Let's do it.
All right, so I think everything else is single malt except for Brimstone. So let's go into your standard single malt.
Oh yeah, that's what I got here. Texas 1 single malt. Yeah, our standard single malt is kind of our, I don't know, it's our baby. It's our flagship. I mean, we got our baby blue, but this is our baby. This is one we love.
That's what got me loving your distillery was that single malt, man.
Yeah.
This was a bottle I put away for a while. This is an older one. This is one's from 16, a 14-month-old.
Yeah, I've got a 2018 here. So now our single malt is straight.
Okay.
24 months plus. And we're also actively trying to see what it would look like to maybe get it 3 years old for European markets, and eventually markets. Sorry, that'll be a little bit like a hiccup there. But yeah, it's 100% Golden Promise malted barley, which is the malt that we use for almost all of our malts, unless it's a specialty like Texas malt. And it's predominantly new oak, but there is almost always some used oak in there. Some used American oak or European oak or French oak, just to kind of like, sometimes the fruit doesn't quite come together. We've got a lot of oak on the table when we're blending, a lot of spice and a lot of oak character, and we just need to thin it out and give it a little fruit and a little sweetness. So we have some used stuff on hand. But yeah, this is a mix of used American oak, new American oak, new European oak or Hungarian oak, and new French oak. And yeah, it's really nice. We really dig it. It's kind of fun. You get like marmalade on toast, and kind of these like toasty bread notes. But then you also get grilled peaches. You get Trader Joe's dark chocolate peanut butter cup. You get some really kind of fun stuff in there. I feel like every time I try this one, I get something new. That's why I dig it so much. It's like it evolves a lot. It's very dynamic. So.
You know what makes me really happy about it is that it beats scotches in competition, and it makes me really happy.
Well, thanks for that.
Can't even legally be called a whiskey.
Huh?
So it can't even legally be called a whiskey in that country, but you know what? It's better than your whiskey.
Boom stuff. Yeah, we tried, and we did. We succeeded, I guess.
Bitches.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it better. Sorry.
Yeah. We're not out to beat anyone, but it is, happy coincidence.
It's nice when you do.
Sorry.
It's a happy coincidence.
Yeah.
Well, really, it's nice for the acclaim because you actually get a nice little bump in sales because of it, and that's really what it's about, is that little bump in sales because of being recognized by a competition. So,
yeah, and it means a lot for us to be in that tradition. We use a Scottish barley, and we use a Scottish mash tun that we inherited from Speyburn Distillery in Speyside, and we use Scottish pot stills made by the premier Scottish still manufacturer. So I think we don't see ourselves as, we're Scotch whiskey makers, but we do kind of see ourselves connected to the tradition a little bit and interested in that tradition and moving in that tradition. And so it meant a lot to us to be able to participate in that. And it's the reason why we do Mirador. We do Brujeria and Hechiceros and wine finishes and malts. So.
Before it goes off my screen, I have a question from Donald Rance asking, has Balcones done any experiments with unmalted barley?
We talked about it's come up to maybe do like an Irish style with raw barley and malted barley combined, and that's something we might explore. But we just have so many pans in the fryer. I don't know how you say it. So many hands in the fryer. I don't know how you fry something. I'm from the Northeast. I'm sorry. You put your hand in the fryer? Is it?
No.
No? There's like a special glove or something. I don't know.
Hot.
But yeah, we'll get to. I think one day we'll get to that, but we haven't yet got around to that. That's a great question.
Let's see.
What else we got?
So I think what we're gonna do next. So I've got some of these single barrels. I think let's pour. So I've got some multiple single barrels that I think I want to pour real quick, and that are amazing. Let's see, where's the one I want?
That's it. Captain, make it happen. Thank you. Too many irons in the fire.
Exactly. There you
I've
go.
got too many hands in the deep fryer. You know, that's our problem at Balcones. It's just
I'm going to pour just in general so you can talk about the program, is a Texas single malt, the single barrel. So this is a 63.3. This is a goody pick from a couple of years ago, European oak.
Ooh, nice.
I liked it so much I ended up buying a case.
Oh,
Damn. Whoa, awesome. That's right.
well, there's all your Texas Balcones right there. At least in the W area.
That is awesome. Oh yeah, so yeah, the single barrel program. We have we are actively when we do our regular blending process, we often have casks that come up and we just, kind of feel like this is either too weird or it's too esoteric or it's just really nice. And we would hate to lose it in a blend and kind of lose its uniqueness. And so we have this outlet in our single barrel program for malt and corn and rye barrels. And also this year we're going to do some more rumble cask single barrels and also some rum single barrels. And yeah, on the malt end of things, a lot of those are going to be new American, European, and French oak, but there's also a whole bunch that are going to be used, our own used ISC, used bourbon, used French oak, used European oak, ex-rumble. And yeah, it's kind of fun because it gives us the ability to offload some stuff to people who are going to be really excited about it without kind of losing a whiskey in a blend or something. But yeah, there's some fun ones out there. There's some really great ones from the DFW Whiskey Club and bars all around Texas. We've had 7 Grand, the bar group of the year via the Icons of Whiskey. They snagged a couple single barrels from us last year. They might get another one this year. And yeah, it's super fun to do that. They come to the distillery. We do a pick. I just did one today. We have 5 barrels in our conference room. We do a tour. We cater lunch, and then we taste we taste whiskey, and then we cater lunch afterwards. But yeah, it's a really fun time. And if you all have a club out there who's interested, you can reach out at info@balconesdistilling.com, and we'll set something up.
I have no doubt at some point we'll definitely do that with probably a few of the different clubs here. We'll probably get together to do it. It'll be a fun one up for the DFW area in general. We'll definitely do one. I don't know which one yet, obviously, but we'll figure that out at some point in time. And so I know Pit Face wants to get together and do one as well, so they can put Pit Face on it and do it with the barbecue. So I'm like, yeah, we're totally up for doing a Pit Face pick and Whiskey Crusader pick. So.
Oh, dude, come on down to the distillery. It'll be a blast.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. We definitely plan to. So I love that pick. That pick happened to be European. I've also got a pick in French oak. And then I've also got the one. This is one we're borrowing from Cats to Make It Happen too. Is the Trailblazer selection from this year? You want to talk about that one real quick?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we did a Trailblazer, really unique experience actually. So the Texas Whiskey Trail, which I'm sure most of the viewers are a part of or know of because you all talk about it. They did like a lottery, and I think it was 20. Texas Whiskey Trail members to the distillery, and we did like a big tour, and then we did a blending workshop that was like a whole afternoon. It was about 3 to 4 hours, 4 hours at least, I think. Now maybe not that long. That's too long. It must have been like 2.5, 3. Anyways, we did a blending workshop for the afternoon, and we had everyone split up into groups, and each group had a different barrel type that would be used in a blend. There was a first fill American oak first fill European oak group, first fill French oak group, and then like a used barrel malt group. And they just kind of hit their groups and took their best barrels and their favorites and then brought them together and then everyone got to taste it, and then we refined it, and we went back and tasted barrels in other people's groups and decided, no, that one needs to go out and this other one needs to go in. And we had this whole afternoon of just like coming together to workshop this blend that they helped us put together, and wouldn't have happened without them. And it ended up, I think it was a 5-barrel blend in the end. And so that's all of the distillery for Texas whiskey trailblazers or trail members. Yeah, it's real grassy. It's got a lot of beeswax on it from some of the used oak, but then it also has some really nice refined tannins from the French oak. It's a little spice from the European oak, and some sweetness from the American oak. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, very unique.
Good pick they did for sure.
Yeah, it does. I think it does well with a little water too. It really opens up after just a little pinch of water. Yeah, it's really nice.
Well, we'll do a full review on it around the next month or so. So, because like I said, we're borrowing this one from Captain, so it's all good. It is.
Yeah, amazing. And the trail does a ton of stuff. I mean, they've done Garrison Brothers picks, and they've done. I think they're gonna do an event at Treaty Oak or Ranger Creek in the next couple weeks, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So definitely get involved. And there's rad stuff going on with them.
We have both. So this is significantly better. No offense to Garrison, but you obviously know there's some stuff that happened with that one, and we won't get into it right now. But this is light years better, to say the least. I mean, this is one of the best picks I've ever had by far.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it. Freaking
it's so interesting.
So much flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually took that. We didn't bottle all of that one because it was 5 barrels, and we didn't think we were going to sell through that much. So we took as much bottles as we think we could sell through our tasting room.
Do you have more of them left? Or
we've probably got a couple hundred left. They're still on the shelf.
Oh, good. Then maybe we'll just buy one if we get down there. We can have them.
Yeah, we rebarreled the rest of the blend in stuff that we didn't bottle. We rebarreled it and used bourbon. And I think the idea is to maybe want to finish something down the road and do another release. And like, hey, this is a Trailblazer blend, but it took a year and used bourbon, and then we want to finish something and in a different form, which I think would be cool.
I think that'd be pretty amazing too.
Cool. Anything else y'all are dying to cover? Are you tired of hearing me talk?
Oh no, we got lots to cover. We're good. So this is a pick from Total Wine that was gifted to us by T Green, and this one's finished in French oak casks. We'll get into Froke itself here in a minute. I'm just going to pour a little bit of it, and then we'll get into Froke, just so I can compare this one to Froke.
Sure.
I have to get another glass, because one thing about Balcones, which is awesome, is they turn your glasses to some beautiful colors, so it tells you this is good whiskey.
Yeah.
I try to use multiples, so I'm going to grab that. So I'm going to grab now the regular Froke, and we'll talk about Froke, which is one of God's gifts to the world, which is the Froke. Tell them about this beautiful, beautiful whiskey.
Yeah, so our Froke is weird. It's a unique expression. Really, it's golden promise malted barley, and sometimes we have casks that we put in a new French oak, and with a lot of time and the Texas climate, that tannin is collected from the barrel, and then with a lot of evaporation, it's just concentrated down. But they're such soft tannins and long tannins, so it is very dense and congener dense and very rich, maybe even excessively so. But just because of the nature of French oak, it just comes across as satin and velvet, and very, very, very rich and sweet too. Even though there's not as much wood sugar in French oak. But it's very rare. It's hard to make. We've done a release, we did a release in 2014. We did a release in 2018, and then we did a release last year, I believe. I think we've only done three French oak releases, and I don't think
19 release.
I don't think we'll do the 19 release is great.
So good.
But I don't think we'll do another release for a few more years because the barrels they're not there yet. They're not. Oh yeah, we made. It's like sometimes it's kind of like pillow a little bit where you're like capital management system. Sometimes that thing happens irrespective of what you're, and logic. It did it. So I think when it comes around again, we'll do it. And this blend was pretty big. It was 19 barrel blend. It was a nice big throat blend. Hopefully, but we won't do that again next year. We won't do that again the year after. We're not doing it again this year. Take a little while. So get it while you can and stockpile for the throat apocalypse. Like nuclear.
For real.
And then we'll
pick it up
again and put it out in a few more years.
Oh, that's yummy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so freaking good. French oak has got to be one of my favorite oaks to age any whiskey in by far. And just French oak just really excites me. It always is a really great whiskey.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all know. I don't know if y'all have seen Juntos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll do that one next. We can do that.
We'll do that one next.
Juntos. Here we go. All right, so tell about Juntos.
Juntos is essentially throat that we finish in tequila casks. So it's got some of that humus, matte, like forest floor notes, that like chestnut butter, those really dark velvety tannins from French oak. But then it also finishes with like pepper and kind of unripe pineapple frond kind of notes. This is a limited expression. I don't think it'll ever happen again. It was 4 barrels, so it did go. We just sold it to the distillery, and now that it's gone, it's gone. But it was kind of it's a fun label. It's got the eagle on the Mexican flag in black and embossed on the label, and it's kind of a fun one. Did you lose it?
Okay, I didn't even realize that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so neat. That's cool. I guess I didn't look that close. All I know is I was enjoying the hell out of the whiskey. I'm like, this is really good.
Yes. It's amazingly yummy.
So good. But yeah, that agave really does stand out in that particular one. You can definitely tell it's a tequila barrel for sure.
Yeah, we don't have like a huge fondness for tequila finishes. I mean, we do it in kind of our roasted blue corn we'll do in tequila because it kind of gives that salty kind of saltwater taffy note sometimes to baby. But yeah, we don't have any great interest in doing it in malt. But for whatever reason, many years ago, someone decided, hey, let's transfer some broke into tequila and see what happens. We were kind of stuck with the barrels at that point. We're like, oh, we got this really peppery agave forward. Let's do something with it. It's kind of cool. It is really neat.
Mm-hmm.
It turned out wonderful.
And definitely unique. Oh, so yummy.
I'm surprised y'all are still going. Y'all are monsters.
We really are. It's kind of insane.
Yeah. This is what we do. All right, so we did that one. We got 3 or 4 more left. All right. Rum cask. Rum cask.
Yeah, so rum cask is kind of I've got a question there we can get to from Arthur Lopez.
Yeah, you can answer that. Answer that first, and we'll go to the rum cask.
Yeah, Crusaders. So on the French oak cask, how do they figure out which barrels are actually French oak? I've heard there are some species mislabeled as French from time to time. Yeah, it gets a little tricky because it's not, nature doesn't recognize French oak. There are many varieties of oak species that grow in France.
Yeah, it's all Quercus petri, right? Like it's.
Yeah, but there's also Quercus robur that grows predominantly in the north. It's used in cognac and calvados a lot, and like Quercus robur tends to be used in spirits, and Quercus petrea tends to be used in wine.
Yeah.
We use Quercus petrea, but yeah, it's not like there's not like the Quercus petrea forest and the Quercus robur forest. It's like it's a lot of species intermingled, So.
Yeah, and you guys are using that species from both France and Hungary, correct?
Yeah, so it's actually they're both Quercus petrea.
Yeah,
but it's just one is predominant. I mean, yeah, if you can depend on that, but one is in France where it's developed tannins because it has a lush, rich, loamy soil with a lot of moisture, and then the Hungarian one develops a little bit more spice and snap because it grows in a poor, infertile soil and a mountain, in a rocky soil in the mountains with more sun exposure and less water. Anyways, But yeah, so that's that. And then we're talking about single malt rum is what you have out, SMR. So single malt, single malt rum cask is an expression we try to do every year, and that's because we are making rum, so we do have barrels that are kind of inoculated with our own rum, and it's kind of fun because it's aside from the rumble finishes, which we don't have a unique expression of in malt. It's a really fun take on we made something and then we finished our malt inside of those barrels. It kind of just ends up being an estery, kind of funky, like fermented pineapple notes, and definitely some like tropical fruit tiki cocktail notes on top of like a big like malt backbone, a big malt flavor that we have. And then we'll continue to do that as long as we're making rum and malt at the same time. I dig it with water. I do dig it down. That one's what's the ABV on that one? What do you have?
3.5.
63.5. Yeah, I think the last release that we did, I think we released at like 65 or something, but we meant to be consumed at like 62, 61, something like that. Yeah. So sometimes we'll release something like 1.5%, 2% ABV higher than we intend for it to be consumed at, because we know people will add a little water, put it on ice. Put it on a cube.
Yep. Makes sense.
But yeah.
Do you give the advice to take it off the big cube once it's reached the proportion that you like it and it's become perfect to drink?
Yeah, I mean,
we heard that from the distillery at Tawakero. They said that was the first time anybody had said it out loud, and it was like, duh, that makes so much sense, but I'd never heard it.
Sure. Yeah, that's interesting. I never heard of that. I mean, I guess if you intend to drink it that slow, but I don't know. You all don't seem like the ones who need that advice.
You're not, but viewers maybe.
Sure. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. No. I don't do a lot on crushed ice, obviously, but I'll do like a big, really clear, dense cube. I don't typically take it off, but that's sometimes because it's just fun to see the full spectrum. You get it to the right proof, and you get one big sip at that proof, and then it keeps going, and you're like, oh, now it's in a window of proof I would never have looked at. It's at below 46 or something, and it's just like, I never get to drink our stuff below there. I wouldn't think to. So, but yeah, that actually is kind of a fun idea.
They had the idea, or they said just pull that cube out once it gets to the point where you're sipping on it and it's perfect. Pull the cube out because that's where it's going to be for the rest of the night. So
that's cool. That's good advice. I like it.
All right. I think
we got a couple more left, Matt. What do we got left?
I've got 5 left.
Oh, I only got 3 left.
Oh, well, I don't know. Brujeria. Is that how you say that? Is that correct?
Brujeria. Yeah, Brujeria.
Tell us about that one.
Brujeria. So yeah, Brujeria and Hechiceros are kind of. Brujeria. We released our 10-year anniversary year. And yeah, it was, again, Jared and Zach working very closely to release this sherry forward whiskey. It's predominantly Oloroso and PX finished, but there's actually one peated barrel in Brujeria too, in that blend, which gives it a little bit of interest and a little bit of depth, and a dynamic nature.
I really wish
that's finished, and yeah, it's got a lot of that like kind of pre-Rancio, oral world Rancio, sherry bodega kind of stuff. It doesn't really go to the yeasty end of things. It's more on like the raisin pie and spice dates end of things. But yeah, we really dig that one. It's very rich, very long finish, very lush, full palate. And yeah, we're actually going to do another release of that this year. We're hoping to find the barrels to be able to do another release of that.
What's on the flavor?
Yeah, so I've got Hechiceros as well. We've got
so Hechiceros. They're meant to kind of be paired together. So Brujeria is big, sherry forward, a big finish. Hechiceros is similar juice. It's Golden Promise malted barley, except that it's finished in port wine. And because of that, it gets just a little bit of like this, the golden nature to the fruit flavors, all that stuff. It's like those red fruit flavors that you might get. They're a little washed out, and some spirits are less defined. There's like some berry notes in there, kind of amped up. some cobbler notes, but it's also very honeyed and rich and raisin. But yeah, no. So those were meant to be released actually as Brujeria and Curanderos were the two expressions. But then we got some pushback from the TTB with the name Curanderos because cura is like priest, or like Curanderos actually means like shaman or like folklore healer or something like that. And the TTB was afraid that we were making health claims. This was like an elixir of life or something.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
And so we couldn't call it Curanderos, so we had to change it to Hechiceros. So Brujeria.
That's just fine.
So the symbols on the labels, what do those mean?
So those are our head distiller Jared designs all of our labels, and I believe I don't know precisely what they are, but I do know that I think those are Native American symbols for the element. So one is water, and the other is earth.
Okay.
Yeah, he often we have another release coming up, and it's the Native American symbol for flowing water. But yeah, so anyways, Brujeria means witchcraft. Hechiceros is like wizard or practitioner of sorcerer, practitioner of magic.
Okay.
I don't have that one.
You don't have Hechiceros?
Report them both tonight.
Oh, okay. Hechiceros. Here we go. So this one's finished in port barrels. Is this one have in it as well?
No peat. But we do the way we kind of see it, we see Mirador, Hechiceros, and Brujeria as kind of like a trio, where Mirador is kind of like the younger brother, and Hechiceros is kind of like a grown-up version of Mirador with maturity and with kind of like finesse and richer, broader shoulders. And then Brujeria is just like the dark, the brooding older brother or whatever, however you want to put it. It's got a wet cherry finish.
Even that 1/15th amount of peat in there was too much for Sarah.
Oh,
really?
Yeah,
I'm not a peat fan.
she
Damn,
can't.
I should have done anything. You may not have done
Oh,
it.
I would have
She
found
would
it
have found it anyway.
on the palette.
She's the people in the house.
She can find
it.
she can find the 2 ppm of Glenfiddich. You know what I mean? Like
Wow.
in a blind taste. It's insanity. She can find peat in everything or
Just
in
not
anything.
a fan. Not for lack of trying, but
Well, yeah, you know what you like. That's great.
yeah. And I'm good for him when he's going through. Is this one peated? Is this one peated? And
Yeah.
sticking things in front of my nose.
That's
Well,
awesome.
you get into some of those Islas that are just super lightly peated or not peated, like Kalila.
Yeah.
Has a bunch of expressions. They're 18-year-old expressions, non-peated. So, if it is peated, it's just that light bit of peat. So I stick it under her nose because she's going to be able to tell me if there's any peat whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
Because she makes this face, she goes, "Urgh."
I forgot to do this one too, Will. So this is high. Can you tell me what High Plains is?
Yeah. High Plains is the release that we did. God, when was that? Was that last year?
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah, it was 2019. So yeah, High
I only have a
Plains
sample of that one.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, so that was a fairly limited release. We partnered with a maltster, Blacklands out of Leander, and they worked with Texas A&M to get some barley grown in the high plains of Texas, and they've been working on some varietals. We finally found one that was able to the climate and to kind of make it work. So we got the first crop of Texas barley produced by them. And then we had Blacklands very generously malted for us and kind of, walked us through the process, but, took it from there. And we did a release, initial fermentation and initial mash and fermentation, and then some initial distillations. And it was cool because it was the first, malt distillate coming off of our stills. First time in Texas that there'd been Texas grown barley that had been through the whole process. And then we put that in some new oak for maybe about a year and a half, and then transferred it and used bourbon, used Buffalo Trace, and let it kind of ride out there. And for whatever reason, the first batch he malted a little differently. I think some of it wasn't all just like pale malt. Some of it was like from different farms. Actually, the initial batches had the names of the farms. So there was like Brownfield 20, and like that was actually from a lot from the farmer or the community Brownfield where it was grown in. But anyways, it was really cool, and we were super excited to do it. We ended up laying a couple 100 barrels of that down of Texas and small.
Awesome. That's exciting when that comes out again. So a few years will come out again then?
Yeah, we're going to try to release some more. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but we're kind of waiting for the barrels to get to the way that we want them to be. But yeah, I think the emphasis on that was showcasing the grain again. It wasn't about barrel character. It was about the barley, the texture of barley. And I think there were some elements in High Plains. There's a lot of wax. There's a waxiness of beeswax. There's a lot of grassiness. It's not quite floral, but there's definitely like a very healthy, grassy, alfalfa, clover, hay kind of note to it. Yeah, we dig that one.
It's really good.
Thank you very much. We really like that one.
Yeah, it's one of the few ones I couldn't get, but thank you to our buddy Carl Ivy. Gave us a big sample of it. Thank God for Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
So I got 2 left. So we got the Peated and the Brimstone. Which do you think we should do?
I mean, you end on Brimstone. Brimstone's going to destroy, you want to for an hour.
Well, I actually, thankfully, Captain gave us a sample of last year's Peated. So actually, I'm going to grab that too. So this is the 19 Peated. I've got the other Peated up as a sample. Let me grab that as well. Cool. Just so you can compare both Peated and you can talk about it. Like, grab it out of the cabinet here real quick.
Yeah, sure. So our Peated stuff is it's actually our Golden Promise malted barley. We work with Simpson's Malt in the UK for our Golden Promise. There's only 2 companies in the world that can sell Golden Promise. It's Simpson's and Fawcett. And Fawcett is a small operation, and they only do floor malted. They're only allowed to do floor malted Golden Promise. But Simpson's will do bigger batches, and they'll do traditional malting, not just floor malting. And they will actually, if you are working on a big enough volume, they'll actually peat a batch of Golden Promise. Golden Promise isn't typically peated, not anymore. It was for a long time. It was the premier Scotch malt whiskey grain in like the 70s and 80s, but it fell out of use because it's not as efficient as other newer varietals. But anyway, so we get it custom peated by Simpson's with a high-lift peat because that's just where their operation is, and that's the peat they have available to them. So the first round that we did, so the 2018 round, is that the barley was peated to 35 ppm. And then the second batch, the other bottle that you have, it was peated to 65 ppm. And the last one was 90.
That should be fun. So 35 and 65. So the
35, 65, yep.
Very cool. This should be very entertaining then.
And it's aged in predominantly New American oak. There's a few used barrels in there, but for the most part, it's New American oak. Okay, it's an interesting choice because most times people taste peated. It's kind of there's almost no oak on it. It's a pretty, I don't want to say it's clean, but it's been in used bourbon or it's been in some used cask, maybe a used sherry. And so the peat is able to really come forward in its own. And we kind of did this unique expression where it's big American oak and it's big peat. And they kind of have this little dueling tango of flavor. And sometimes it's hard to tell if you're tasting the barrel char, American oak barrel character, or if you're tasting the smoke and what is coming from where. So that was kind of the idea with that.
Wow. You can definitely tell the difference on both the nose and the palate of that ppm difference. It's pretty vast. Like the new one is really, I would say, close to a Lafroig Ardbeg type peat. It's kind of like a mix between the iodine and the meaty of the Lafroig and the.
Is that what you poured me? Was the newer one?
Yeah, that's what I gave you. That one, the 65.
Okay. That's what I was getting was a Lafroig type of peat.
Yeah, those are freaking delicious.
Big brine. Yeah, it's lovely.
So. If y'all like peat, well, I know Sarah doesn't. I'm so sorry, Sarah. Next time, I'm sorry.
I've got my other. I like everything else.
Yeah, plenty of whiskey to drink.
Except for rye. But
so we have some. We're gonna do some releases later this year. We have a. We'll do a peated release that is no new oak, so it's no virgin oak. It's all used bourbon.
Nice.
And that's actually going to be then finished in Sauterne casks. And so there's a release coming that showcases the same.
Where are you getting the Sauterne cask from?
I I don't know the precise name of the winery or of the vineyard, and
sorry, just in general.
Where do we get them from?
Yeah, I mean, like what area? Are they French Sauternes?
Yeah, no, they're French. They're full. Yeah, they're straight up. They're French Sauterne casks. Yeah, no, we get them through a barrel broker, Rocky Mountain cooperage, and they hook us up with those, and they're great. I mean, they really have some exceptional character. They're great casks. We get them fresh too. It's like we get an email like, "Hey, these have been dumped.
Do you want them?
We'll bring them over. How many do you want?" And we're like, "Great, we'll take this many." And so we get them when they're really juicy and fresh. It's really nice.
Yeah.
So that's going to come out. That'll come out probably late summer, early fall. We found a way to make that release a little bigger because we got more Sauterne than we expected. So we were only going to do a small number finish, and then we were like, "Oh man, we got a whole bunch more." So we were trying to finish more to make that release about a 10 to 15 barrel release, so it can go everywhere. So that's coming up, and I think if you're into our peated, that it really just it is all of our peated character without a lot of the oak and wood and the new American oak stuff, and it's very, very exceptional. It's probably some of the stuff I don't want to say exceptional. Like for us, we're really excited about it. That's what I mean. It's like that's what we get excited about in the blending room is when we get to look at the peated Sauterne stuff and the refill peated stuff. So that's coming up soon.
It's quite great.
Exciting.
If anyone goes through any of the American Single Malt Whiskey Commission panels that have been going on around the country, we're tasting the peated Sauterne, a cask strength sample at that panel.
You can send us to this panel. That'd be great. I'll take some.
I'll get you a little scooch. I'll get you a little sample.
That was great.
All right. We're going to probably finish with Brimstone. But
so tell them what this special Brimstone is. This is like bottle number 5 for me.
Charles Ashworth, I believe it's going to be Texas only. I got a question. Is the peated Sauterne going to be Texas only? Yeah, I think this year it'll be Texas only, but I'm pretty sure that next year in 2021, it's going to be big enough release that it'll go to probably California, New York, Chicago, some like outer markets.
Nice.
Yeah. It'll hold me to it, but I'm pretty based on what we have in the warehouse and based on our release sizes and what our distributor takes and all that. It looks that way. But yeah, on the Brimstone front, so Brimstone is 100% roasted blue corn whiskey. It is aged at least 1 day. It says on the bottle. Really,
it's so great you say that. That just
really is. I love it.
A chuckle every time I read it when I have new whiskers come to my house and give them a tasting. I'm like,
at least a day old.
Yeah. I'm like, it's such a chuckle. It's 1 day. They're like, 1 day. I'm like, it's a joke. That's why it's funny. It's like, just smell it, holy crap is all you'll know.
So yeah, they used to, I'll say this, I don't know how much I should say, but yeah, they used to use new make in the process, and then they would age it. So it was a little tongue in cheek. It was like aged at least 1 day, so we can call it whiskey, right? Yeah. But now I can tell you that the stuff going into Brimstone is almost straight. It's like 18 to 24 months typically.
Nice.
So yeah, it's kind of funny. We probably should change that label, but it's just kind of our label.
It's so funny. It's worth keeping.
Yeah, you should. I think
to somebody. It's
fun.
Leave
it there. Okay, yeah, I think it is kind of funny. But anyways, it is. Huh?
I said, and honestly, it doesn't taste young by
any
means.
No.
There's no grain to it. There's no sappiness to it. There's no young anything to it. So. Yeah. To say aged 1 day is really a joke because
exactly. It's a bit of a tongue in cheek. It's a little jab at others and at ourselves. It's just like, aged 1 day, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's a funny joke, and I get it. I think that most whiskey consumers will get it.
Cool.
Or most whiskey, people will get it. So
it's also magical with bacon.
It is.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Or like in a homemade marshmallow for like a s'more.
Ooh.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's yummy.
Ooh. We should do it over waffles. I think it'd be great over waffles too.
Yeah, cap and make it happen is hitting it on the head. We're trying to get Brimstone a little sweeter. I think it's easy for it to just all be about ash and char a little bit, and that's cool. But smoke and ash and char don't all those things combined. I mean, y'all know about barbecue. Like you're smoking bacon or you're smoking a ham or something. Yeah, you need some fat, you need some sweetness, you need a little body to carry the smoke. And so, we really do try to get that like almost like pancake syrup level sweet glaze flavor and then put the smoke on top of it. But we really dig that one. It's at 53% ABV, so it's the same proof as our Malt 106. And yeah, it's like I said, it's really polarizing, but I think it's also fun. It's kind of ironic being in Texas, going outside of Texas, people sometimes get more excited about Brimstone. Because to them, it's kind of like, oh man, this is what like cowboys are drinking. In the UK, it's like a joke. People get really excited about Brimstone because it's just like, well, man, this is what Americans drink. Like this is whatever. It's kind of ironic, but no. So it's a fun one. It's definitely a fun one.
All right. Well, I hate to call the festivities over for the evening, but we are well past bedtime at this point. So, Gabe, what, if anything, do you have coming down the pipeline from Balcones that you want our viewers to know about?
You haven't allegedly told us
that you
already.
haven't allegedly told us about already. So,
I mean, yeah, I definitely encourage you to pick up our alleged release for sure. I just follow us on social media. I think on Instagram we're at Balcones Distilling. We're also on Twitter and Facebook. Our Twitter is like a little dead, but we do some stuff with it. Definitely follow us on social media to see when we're releasing new stuff, or we have a newsletter too when we're doing big releases. We've got some stuff coming down the pipeline that we're super excited about. We have a lot of really fun malts this year, some really great collaborations coming up. We're going to partner with Hack, which is a winery south of Houston, to do a Madeira finish.
Oh yeah,
malt with their own Madeira. That'll be later in the year. We're doing that's a Peated Sauternes release later in the year. We're going to do a little bit bigger weeded bourbon release later in the year. We've got rums coming up this summer. Mirador is coming up. We're bottling it next week. So definitely stay tuned, follow us, and put your finger on the Balcones pulse to see when stuff comes out. And we appreciate you drinking our stuff. Whether it's pot still bourbon, whether it's Brujeria, we're glad to be, a part of the Texas whiskey party.
Yeah. So this is that Madeira. This is Hack Madeira.
There you go. That's them.
Looks like. So
yeah.
No, that's very exciting. I love Madeira finishes, so I'm very excited you guys are gonna make something. Because Andalusia's got something with them coming on too, so I'm very excited to both you guys. Madeira finishes comes out with the Hack stuff.
It was the same round of barrels. Hack called them, and then they took a few barrels, and then we took the rest, and it's gonna be cool.
That sounds awesome. I'm very excited about this. This is very cool.
But thanks so much for having me on. It was a privilege to hang out with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome time. It'd be great.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming on.
Come down to Waco and see you.
We'll hold John here for a few minutes after we click the end live stream here in a minute. So coming out this week tomorrow, we will be the very first channel to be presenting the Pinhook Kentucky Straight Rye coming out, which is Castle & Key's first whiskey product. Best part is we beat all the Kentuckians to it, so we're coming to review of that tomorrow. Dang, so ha. That's all I gotta say on that one. And then later this week, Lafroig 16. Oh, I'm excited.
Darn it! I wasn't.
Sarah's so glad she did the review of that one.
So I missed the review of two things I don't like.
Yes, so perfect.
Darn it!
All good.
Kind of thankful for that migraine I had all day.
Let's see what else we got. Boss Hog 6. So we got some really cool stuff coming out here in the next few days. So we're gonna do that. And so everybody, thank you very much. We'll see everybody next Monday night. And everyone's here for Texas Independence Day and this amazing Balcones. So thank you, Gabe, very much for being with us. This was
Gabe.
Don't go anywhere, Gabe. Don't click any buttons.
We will see all of you next week. So cheers, everyone. See you guys next week.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheerio, darlings.